Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Say, I love, eh. Day in and break, everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace, they want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up, no justice for the poor. Yeah, look the way we're living. We treating one another unfair. Unfair. Look the way we're living. We treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and breed. We pray, asking the Lord for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs. Yeah. In our suffering is what they're making business of. Yeah. The rich get richer and the poor people suffer. Them promise say, them bring development and better education. Our lands are fertile, the food on the land. Our children, we're pushing into bagging. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Our forefathers were taken into slavery, but in a modern time like this, we're children and slaves. We're fighting a war not with guns and bullets. The enemies I see are my brothers and my sisters. We're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge a book by its covers. Looks can be deceiving. Whenever the sun shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future. Yeah.
James Koyate Jr., welcome to the show. Daniel Jr. Boazizi Duade. The big names coming up already, folks. It's the closing argument. We're back in here again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah.
James Koyate Jr., Emmanuel Waya, Daniel Ozizi Duade. Guys, do us a favor, share the video. Come on now, invite other people. The show is about to get started. The man, Dr. Peabody, is already in the building. Emmanuel Ma, welcome to the show, folks. As you come on,
everybody on the hustle.
We've got to do our part. Do due diligence and share the video. Invite somebody, tell somebody else. The video is on. They can watch it from anywhere. YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.
Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up. No justice for the poor.
No justice for the poor.
Yeah. Look the way we're living.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel.
Unfair. Look the way we're living. We're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? the hope for the future. Yeah. We have everything in abundance, but we die and rot and breed. We pray, asking love for another Moses, cause all we have is pharaohs. Yeah.
Madam Yuma Throw Conga, welcome to the show.
Suffering is what?
Those that you join us today, we appreciate you for being a part of the closing argument crew.
Preacher.
From far and near, we appreciate you as you celebrate your special days, wedding, anniversary, birthdays, and everything else. We want to appreciate you and welcome you to the closing argument.
No food on the land, our children, we're pushing it to bag. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair. What's the hope?
Akwe Gumakoli, welcome to the show.
What's the hope for the future?
Throw Conga, Akwe, Henry, Yango. Folks, as you come on, please do us a favor, share the video. There are folks out there who just don't get the notifications, so let us do due diligence, do our part, share the video, invite somebody, tell somebody else. The closing argument is about to get open.
My sisters, we're diggers of graves while we're still living. Don't judge your book by its covers. Looks can be deceived.
Bookman's son
shines, must come a rain. Who will come and take away the pain? Look the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair.
Look at the way we're living, we're treating one another unfair.
We're living, we're treating one another unfair.
It's that situation for today.
What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future?
What's the hope for the future when people cannot be committed to what they believe in? When government officials cannot
hope for the future. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? The hope for the future.
What is the hope for the future, folks? As we get into today's conversation, welcome once more. Today is the 10th of June, 2024. This is the closing argument. In studio already is man, Dr. Peabody, alongside Mr. Gunglo. We are all here prepping up to bring you the information, your most informative platform, and very, very involving. We want to give you all the opportunity. If you're following from Liberia, this is a perfect opportunity for you to test out your devices. Wherever you may be joining us from, we have, we try to create the opportunity for you guys to be really involved. So if you have WhatsApp, we now have a WhatsApp line for you to call in, especially from other parts of the world. We will put the WhatsApp number here. And when you go to WhatsApp, just simply type in that number and look for TCA viewers. Now share that number with your family and friends to have it added to their WhatsApp, because this will be an opportunity for you to call, and that way you will be heard clear. We will test it out tonight once Dr. Peabody is in here, but we are trying to transition from just having to use the normal phone line, but we want to have it embedded in the system so that way you guys can actually hear and get the real quality voice of the audience and those that are contributing. So we'll put the number here, and please, by all means, feel free to use that number, but you must first of all have it added on WhatsApp, and then you will go from there. With that said, folks, I'll turn it over to Dr. Peabody to take us to the rest of the intro, and we'll be right back. I will be right back. Dr. Peabody is going to be here.
Well. Look, I like that song. That music was just treating one another unfair. Guys, we'd like to welcome you to the Monday edition of the Closing Argument. Our chief himself, Chief Tourmaline, Wanlu George. Wanlu George is actually traveling today. He's traveling to Liberia, probably on the flight as we speak. He's traveling to Liberia for some meetings. He has a couple of meetings, and he's on his way to Liberia. But thank you, Smith Melvin, that is following us from Lofa. Mr. Kelabu, Gunglo, good to see you. Lofa, good to see you. Well, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the closing argument. We understand there's a major windstorm going on in Liberia, so we've been having problem connecting, but we got some rare brains behind the show, like Lofa Julius, who have been working a thing to keep us going today. So we are excited, we are excited. There's a lot of things happening. There's news and news and news and news. So we're gonna come up and give our views and what have you, man. But welcome to the closing argument. Lofa, welcome. Mr. Gunglo, welcome. I know we'd like to begin by asking everybody what's on their mind today. What's on your mind, Lofa?
Well, first of all, great to be here. Happy Monday to all of you. Those of you that are working, not too many of us are excited about Mondays because that's the beginning of the week, right? By Wednesday and Thursday, we start to feel excited because then we know the weekend is almost here. But great to be on here. I want to use this opportunity to extend birthday greetings to my uncle, Kelvin Soko, all the way out of Madison, Wisconsin, who celebrated his birthday sometime last week. Great that he celebrated his birthday, and I want to wish him a happy belated birthday. For today, a lot of things going on in Liberia. I first of all want to focus on what was the return on our investment. What did we get in return from our folks from South Korea? What did we get? Because remember, we spent money to send those guys. When President Weah and other travel during the, from 2017 up to 2023, they were heavily scrutinized about what they were bringing back to Liberia. So at this point in time, the fact that we are sending lawmakers who are going and coming back to Liberia and serving as public relation officers, it is alarming. And there is a heavy downpour of rain. As a matter of fact, before I even get to the heavy downpour of rain in Liberia, Smith Norvin Eric just mentioned that he's on his way to Lofa County and they're stuck in the mud. But we are well past the 100 days, so this is concerning. It is way beyond 100 days. And considering that we just invested 20 million or 22 million for roads rehabilitation or maintenance, to be correct. The year we are, people are telling us they're getting stuck in. This is not my word. I'm not in Lofa County. I'm not in Liberia. Not on my but this is coming from somebody who claimed to be at that specific location. Hopefully we can, we'll put the WhatsApp number up to give him the chance to hopefully call in and share with us what the condition is like, considering the heavy downpour of rain in Monrovia. It's sad for our people. And also, finally, what is on my mind is also the returnees from the Bujumbura refugee camp. We're hearing that some of them are left, they were, just put in locations where the living condition is unhealthy. And it's sad. It's sad to return to your own country and you're treated like a refugee in your own country. It's I think and hope that this government will do better than they have thus far. But I will stop there for now. Those are the things that are on my mind.
Honorable Gunglo, His Excellency, welcome to the Monday's edition of the closing argument. Please tell us what's on your mind, sir, before we get into this Lo-Fi great points. And I'm kind of shutting this down. We want to talk a couple of things. Honorable Gunglo, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Monday is like Lofa said, Monday is a very difficult time to get people to do these things. Yeah. Cause you come from work, you're thinking on what you're going to do on Tuesday, and what have you. But for me today, I'm quite happy. Our schools are closing, so students are not coming to school like before. So we are winding down. We are, cleaning our shop, trying to leave the classroom. So I had a half day at work today. But for Liberia, I have a few things just generally to talk about. I know it may not be the outline of what you want to discuss today, but too often time we talk politics, and politics tend to overshadow many critical issues in the country. Like if you look in the health sector, I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed or have experienced this. Since January this year, too many deaths keep occurring in Liberia. Young and old
Yeah.
babies are just dying. You open Facebook page, it's like, oh, until we meet again, until we meet again. That's what you see. And all that is because of the health system we have. You know, we talk more on the president, political parties focus on the president trip, we focus on the politics of everything. But the health sector, what is happening in the health sector since the government came to power? What is the government health policy? What are they doing? Do we have medication in GFK now? I saw Sir Joseph doing something in Buchanan, Basel and the Buchanan Hospital. I know Buchanan Hospital during the campaign, during the campaign time, I think it got boarded by fire or something like that. What is the government doing? Not just Buchanan, not just Monrovia, but what is the government health policy? How are they going about it? We have a budget now. The execution of the budget has started. How much has been expended so far in the health sector? You know, is there a place where we can go to get a number to say the government has spent so far maybe $5 million in the health sector? How can we measure the impact? Okay, those are things I think maybe we'll begin to think on. Then on education, 12 years of Unity Party regime. At the end, President Sali and Joseph Boakai declared to the Liberian people that education has become a mess. Now, President Boakai, to his credit, he said it's squandered a lot of opportunities, which many, oh my God, which some people tend to agree with. He explained himself in different fora. It became a political, a campaign issue, but now he has the gavel of authority to administer the affairs of the country. So he can look, he can reflect on missteps under the Ellen 12 years. I know for a fact he was not involved in not everything under Ellen Joseph Boakai was consulted. So he can look at missteps and say, you know what, these are things that we could have done differently. Now I have the gavel authority. I'm going to put my stamp on this. It will be done this way. How is he doing it differently? In the health sector, in education that was messed for 12 years, what would be the focus? What is the education policy? What is the drive? What takes the government to get tech on education? Because people tend to misconstrue things. Few students going to WIAC and this honest manner, people passing past question and maybe leakage here and there, and students performing, maybe some student pass, does not measure the quality of the education system. No, it does not. There are many indicators to look at. The quality of textbooks, the quality of how many teachers are teaching that are certified teachers. Do they have subject area certification? Those are things you look at. What type of infrastructure you have? Do they have science laboratory? I mean, who can go down the list and make and ask all these questions? Those are political things, or political parties and politicians tend to overlook that. And last day, I'm going to end on this. Economic trumps everything. If you don't have money, you can't go to hospital, but go hospital. So what is the economic policy? What is the government policy? What is the government strategy to even reduce the number of people in the informal sector? Now, I understand when you go to Waterside, it was like that under WIA, it was like that under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for most part, and arguably has been like that under other president before Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The number of sellers in Waterside and in the street has been increasing. The reason why it has been increasing because government has not actually focused on creating jobs to transition young people without employable skills from the street to a formal sector. You go down Waterside, you see the young girl standing in the street braiding hair, right? Good skill. But if you compare their output with those who are boutique, they probably braid hair better than the people with boutique, right? So what is the government policy on that? How do we cater to these young people so that they can earn a little more on their skill? Those are, for me, bread and butter issue that I think the government of Liberia should begin to become very visible that they are doing this or this or plan. Give us hope as to what they're going to do to create job, the type of job, not just informal job.
Thank you. Very, very good point. As you were talking, I was kind of jotting down those things, and those are certainly things that we can talk about here tonight. We can discuss tonight. Guys, want to welcome you again. Share the show. If you watch, share it. We're looking forward for an exciting show here tonight. There's a lot of things happening, but I just want to say this. I was asked on behalf of the team just to notify you that this morning we receive communication from one of our panelists, Kev Hassan, that he will be stepping down from the closing argument, and he will be stepping down from the media. So what we want to wish Kev all the best in his new joining, and hope that he finds fun out there. But let me say that a lot of you have reached out to us, even some of the comment I'm reading, to let you know that we are committed to keeping the closing argument going. The information out there that we will be going back to our Spoon Network, that is totally untrue. We have not had any conversation in regards to that. Everything that was done was Kev himself who came up with that and did what he wanted to do. So the information out there that people were, I don't know, they say Kev had an interview yesterday and said that he was begging to go on another network and what happened, but he wrote this morning and said he's stepping down. So again, we want to wish Kev all the best, but we thank you for all your support, for all the phone calls. Yesterday I had over 30 calls. I was at a visiting somebody yesterday, and the calls, people were telling me, come also, I saw somebody was dead or something like that happened, but we're just getting calls and calls. But thank all of you, for your support, for calling us and all of that. But I want to assure you that everybody you see on the closing argument, they are professional people. Everybody you see here, very professional. They work and earn the income. So the allegation is hustler on closing argument. I don't want you to get into that. But again, thank you for your support. I'm not going to go too far into the panelists.
Sure.
Anybody want to say anything about it before we move on? That's exactly what was on my mind. But I will ask by the guys that we should make this comment and let the people know that Kev decided to leave the closing argument. But we have no.
I will make a comment on it. If Lufa wants to make a comment, Lufa, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I do. I really want to make a comment on this, and the comment on here is the focus of the Liberian people. The Liberian people have entrusted us with a piece of job to do, and therefore our commitment is to the Liberian people, not an individual. Neither are we here to hype a specific institution. The people believe that, all of us here, we bring something special to this platform. And because of that, they would take upon themselves tirelessly and timelessly to listen in to get the narrative that is in the best interest of Liberia. And they're here to get the education that the closing argument brings. And that's why she's one of the most formidable media institutions right now, or platforms right now, whether on the social media in the Liberian community or back home. So with that said, my focus here is the people that have entrusted us with a piece of job. And if we underperform, then we have a burden to carry. If we over deliver, we will walk around anywhere in the world where our heads up high, and people will continue to respect us for the level of commitment, our dedication to quality and presenting work with integrity. So I think our focus should be on that, and just wish the brother the best of luck. The closing argument is here for the Liberian people, and we will remain committed to bringing the news, the information and whatever is in the best interest of Liberian. That's my that's the only thing I have to say about that.
Thank you. So Caleb,
Yes, I must confess for the first time that I'm very happy that Kerr Hassan left I didn't feel comfortable, not because I don't like Kerr Hassan as an individual. He's a very handsome man. But I think some of the conceptual issues you deal with here are beyond his comprehension. I mean, when we're discussing the economy, Kev cannot bring any substantive contribution. He can make any substantive contribution to that. I mean, when we're discussing the different constructs on politics, on the health, on employment, labor market information, he cannot bring anything. I listened to him yesterday on Spoon. I actually listened to that interview. In fact, when he said he'll be breaking his voice from Spoon, from the closing argument back to Spoon, and you call your name, right? He actually.
What you say? He'll bring what?
You'll bring your bike. You'll carry your bike. I put it in the chat room yesterday because I watched the show not because
I think I read that. Yeah,
I watched the show because John Molu was going there, right? So I wanted to hear what Molu would say. Molu, because John Molu was one of the members of the rescue team. So I know there has been fallout at different levels among the rescuers, right? So I want to know where does he stand at this point? And I thought he did a great job. So even when it came to making comment, Kev tried, go watch it. Kev tried to make comment and just repeated what one of the panelists said. He didn't. So I actually, I tested of Stanton. I said, Stanton, what you guys are discussing is beyond Kev or level. He can't contribute to this. Look at his contribution.
Let's move on, man. We got.
I'm happy that he's
no, but let's move on.
I'm happy.
We're
not adding any value to the
okay, so let's move on. Yeah, let's move on then.
Yeah, I think, I just want to speak for, the team that whatever statement that was made that we will be, he'll be carrying back to Spoon. We're not. I've learned to move on. When I leave a job, I make sure that the right decision was made. I don't try to go back to that job, except maybe they call me and give me a better incentive. And then maybe, but when I decide that I'm moving on, I will move on. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to beg somebody to get on their platform, But today, if you went on social media, you saw how people were saying. I thought, to be honest, we are not competing. We're not running any competition here with a Spoon Network. I believe they have their own program. They have a great program going. We have a great program going, and we are not running a competition here. But some of the comments that have been directed to the closing acumen and the panelists, it was just horrible to read some of them online. That the guys here are hustler. They got no job. They got nothing to do. I guess if we didn't have job, we'll be on the show for 7 days a week. I work. Everybody on the network are highly professional people. So, but again, let me say thank you for all your kind, sweet words and messages. We're going to move on. We are not at war with Kev Hassan. He's our friend, and we're not going to make this about Kev at all. We're not going to do that. We are going to continue to build our platform. Everything starts from a small beginning. When we were on Spoon, I was one of the regional men there, and it took months. It took up months when we had 2 viewers, 3, 10, 20 viewers until it got to where it was. So we are not, but we want to make sure that we build our platform. And let me reassure you, I don't know, but for me, I don't have any intention of going back. I guess when I leave Closing Acumen, that will be it for me. I don't have any intention of leaving Closing Acumen. But with that said, let's get back to our topic, to our viewers. We have our regular viewers. Thank you for joining us. And let's get into the show today. We want to firstly, Lofa brought a very good topic out about the president's trip to South Korea. What did Liberia gain from that trip to South Korea? Since Kalabu is here, I want to start with you. They talk about okay, Lofa here. He brought that out. He talked about I listened to Darrell Dillon and Ambassador said the Senate was having a retreat there over the weekend, and he talked about there were Liberia gained and most of the countries that were there, according to Senator Darrell Dillon. So I want to know what did Liberia gain, Lofa? Let's start with you brought that up.
So I'm glad that with the level of the involvement of the social media, these petty lies will easily be exposed. Okay, Liberia's benefit from South Korea is nothing. Honestly, nothing. When we come on these platforms and talk about the inconsistency, the incompetence on the part of our government, and not just this government, but previous governments as well, it appears as though everyone who went to South Korea simply went over there for a joyride. Now, to listing, I want you all to pay keen attention to this. What is Darrell Dillon's role as a lawmaker? To create that check and balance when the executive is traveling. While it is true that he is on the Foreign Affairs Committee, he's the chairman or whatever, but you would think part of his responsibility is to make sure that things that are done in accordance with the law and in the best interest of Liberians. Unfortunately, Dillon has become the public relation officer for President Boakai. Almost everything he said today is just all lies. It's embarrassing to hear. It's embarrassing to hear that Dillon will sit on the radio in Grand Bassa County, where he intends to run for the Senate, to behave as though he's working diligently in the interest of Liberians. And this is why often when I talk about Dillon, people will say, why are you always personal? You should not be personal and emotional about Liberia. Guess what? Dillon and other people, they like any people. Let me say this, and not to just be lengthy or windy in my contribution here, but this is where I see Dillon and other people in their deceptions. When President Weah was the president, almost every trip that was made, Dillon had to critique everything, almost all of it. I read today the Business Journal from Africa. Major countries that actually won something were labeled in there. I didn't see Liberia. I took my entire lunchtime today. While I was running to McDonald's to get me something, I was actually out there just looking to see any major gain that Liberia made. You know what we did? Those guys went on joyride at the expense of the suffering masses, at the detriment of our people. Until anybody can show me where we had some kind of substantial gain, we did nothing.
Oh, that is, yeah. Welcome, Grace. Kalabu. Let's talk about that. What did Liberia gain? Okay. Were you playing something?
No, sorry. I follow Abraham Goldstein William on Freedom FM most of the time. So there was a particular issue from Grand Bassa he was talking about. I want to just look at, but I'm sorry. So for me on these kinds of things, on this particular trip, on the face of it, on the appearance of it, it seemed like we didn't get anything much. Besides, you travel for 30 hours. It seemed like we didn't get anything, but the chips will start to fall very soon because we are in a global age we are in a digital economy, digital war. Everything is digitized, right? So sooner or later, there are a lot of Liberians in South Korea who speak Korean, who are educated, professionals. Some of them are doing business, working with big companies and what have you. So sooner or later, they will get information. If the government puts one thing out on e-marshal, this Korean will go there and kind of check. This is what the government said this, but this is what is available in Korea. So sooner or later, those things the chip will start to fall. So for me, I like to give a few more weeks because I listened to Freedom FM, Abu Sheri and Austin Kawa this morning. They were in chat with a Liberian in South Korea. And based on that, they have actually written a formal letter to the executive mansion, to the Minister of State, to get a specific outcome, what the Liberia achieved. So that when it's written, they will send to their counterpart in South Korea to say, this is what the government said today. So to check it. So I would like to give a few more days. But from what I've gathered so far, this conference, Liberia went unprepared, which was not, unusual. Many times I had Liberian government, not just President Bouaka governments before Bouaka, that's how they do. Liberia is a country where many of the government officials are lazy, historically lazy. And look, I work in government. People on this channel have said I work in government for 6 years, from 2006 to 2011. I left the Ministry of Labor. When I was leaving, Sally told me, don't leave. When I will make you deputy minister, I said, madam, I'm done. I don't want to work as contractor for government anymore. If I'm going to be a government employee, I must be head of entity. If I'm not a head, I can't be deputy to nobody. If I'm going to be deputy, only one person so far I've identified in Liberia, and that's Double Jala. Besides Double Jala, I can't be deputy to anybody because I trust his character. I know him. I work with him, and I know him. But besides, I don't want any government job that will be assistant minister or deputy minister, not to anyone, because I know I'm very creative and I'm principle-minded on things I believe in. So as far as I know, this trip, as it appears, it seems like we didn't get anything because we didn't prepare for it. We prepared not to get anything, so we didn't get anything. Because we have ambassador for Japan and South Korea, there would have been a vast delegation. This conference did not just drop from the blue moon to say, let's go. It was months in preparation for this conference. They would have prepared, sent a vast delegation to even create a booth, set a booth for Liberia, to showcase some of the investment opportunities. They didn't do all that. So you don't fly by night and expect to get this thing. Ghana get $2 billion. Tanzania, other countries are getting all these billions of dollars. Liberia, you talk about, so Liberia was actually placed in a listening role, as I understood from other sources. They were placed on what? In listening role. That they were at the conference to listen to see how other African countries did it, and they were getting all this baby money. That's all Liberia. So that's what we achieve. We listen, we learn, we saw what Ghana did, so we need to go to Ghana maybe after the conference to learn from Ghanaian government. How did you guys do it to net $2 billion? Maybe some President Bouaka has close relationship with Madabio in Sierra Leone. He can also send his team to Madabio and say, Madabio, tell us, how did you guys do it to get all this big money? Okay? I mean, that's my take on it. But I'm happy Grace is here because I intend to leave when it's 6 o'clock. I have a tennis game planned by 6:30. I have to go play tennis.
Awesome. You're a great athlete, man. You continue to exercise.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the U.S. I'm in the United States Tennis Association summer game. So I'm playing 6 games so far. I lost 2 and won 4. So I'm having one more coming this Saturday. I don't want to lose that.
So you gotta practice.
Yeah, because I want to increase my rating at the end of the summer. Yeah.
Awesome. Grace, you are here. Welcome.
Thank you.
on this Monday's edition of the Closing Argument. You just coming, we did our opening. Do you want to tell us what's on your mind, and then we'll jump into the topic of what was on your mind?
Well, thank you for having me. I'd like to say thank you to Kerebu as well on the platform. Kerebu, but you don't look like you play tennis at all. I really have to see you in action because you don't have that look behind the camera, but the camera can fool people. So, you will look one way on the camera, and then when you meet in person. So I want to see. I really want to see one of your games. Is there any way
you know what, Grace? I will interrupt you for a minute. Do you have family members in Monrovia?
Yeah.
Do you have? Do they? I mean, okay, I'll say go to SKD, SKD Sports Complex, and just go there to the tennis court and ask any of the tennis players. Say, I'm looking for one man they call speedometer. I'm the only man in Liberian tennis they call speedometer.
I'll tell you.
I'm the fastest runner in the Liberian tennis. Go there.
But what I see to you, at least I don't have to ask them. I will ask, but then you can still record one of your games and put it on social media. So we can see you in action.
Grace, I actually tried to do it. No, you see here, I went on Amazon and I bought this thing. I want to record myself to do the video, right? Here's why. Here's the son I will show you. Just quickly, not to take all your time. You see here, this is something I bought just to be able to videotape myself while I'm doing it. But I've not been successful to do it. Maybe Lofa Juniors need to teach me how to do it. So I'm trying to create my own video to show how fast I am on the tennis court.
But we're gonna. I mean, once we see the video, we're proud of you. Or like,
oh no. But go on USTA website and just Google my name. You see my rating. You see all my game records.
Okay.
That's all. We are in digital age. I mean, it's nothing really.
Yeah,
I entered the tournament 2022. So I mean.
Well, congratulations so far. I hope you win the game that you're going to do later on. Is it today or tomorrow?
Saturday, but I'm just playing against others to practice more.
Practice, okay. So we look forward to hearing that you won on the Saturday game. Will be lifting our flags for you. I
want to play Alex Jones. I told you I will beat him. I want to play him. Alex Jones said he can play tennis, so I want to play him.
You want to beat him? You should beat him, Kerebu. But what's in my mind?
I like to beat young people,
Yeah. The old people like to be competitive. So we understand. But what's on my mind is that Kerebu was just talking about, how Liberia always go to these things not prepared, and they take people there that are not prepared to actually negotiate for the country because the government came in not prepared. And if you hire people not prepared, that's what happens. It's like a fire service, company. If you don't prepare the people to fight fire, and make sure that when a fire hit a building that they can, distinguish the fire, they will not be able to do that. So that's why we were really disappointed in the Liberian people when they decided to vote President Bouakai in as president, because we knew that he was never prepared. Although he had all the length of years under his belt, but he was just not prepared to lead a whole country. So it's not that because you work in a certain company or you work in the government, for so long, it means that you are prepared for certain positions. Certain positions you will not be able to do it. Some people go on the job, they're very active, they learn from step to step, level to level. They're able to deliver as they get up in stages, they get their different benefits, and they will be pushed to do more, to get more money and more benefits. For some people, they are satisfied in their situation on the job. They will not do, anything else because they're certified in that position, and that's who Joseph Bouakai is. So he's not prepared, and he brought people in that are not prepared. So when they go to these things, the people don't know what to do. How can you go to a summit where other countries are negotiating billions and you come with nothing? For that summit, the partnership agreement, they were supposed to be able to negotiate for trades and deals for the country. They were supposed to be able to, negotiate for our tourism sector. And you know, rest situation right now in the country is a problem. They were supposed to go there and see what plan they were supposed to have a plan available to present to the people to help the right situation in the country. So all these things. But if people are not prepared when they go into something, they will not be prepared to negotiate to get anything from that. So they went there wearing their handbags. And for the record, if you're in diplomatic position, it's not good to wear loud colors. So let me just try to educate them on this one. When you're in diplomatic positions and you go to diplomatic summits and meetings and stuff, you don't wear loud colors. They have diplomatic colors. Just Google it so you can be able to dress in the colors and make the country, look good. If you can make us look good for anything except for your appearance, then you appear well. So that's for the record. But these people, they got in position, they are not prepared. We expected that at least we should have a partnership in various areas such as trade, investment, security, technology, cultural exchange. They were not prepared. They killed the Liberian culture. They don't even present the culture well. So just those little things. So if they are not prepared for those little things, how are they going to be prepared to even negotiate for millions of dollars to come to our country? I remember one time Dr. Moniba spoke and he said that Liberia has the negotiation deals to negotiate billions of dollars for Liberia because our position in Africa, we the oldest country, and we have a lot of ways to get things done for our country. But because the people that are in position don't have the preparedness to go and really negotiate these things, when they go and get $300 million, they satisfy, they take the money home, share among themselves, and do what they have to do, and then they satisfy with that. But you see the other countries now, they are stepping in front of us because they're learning the stuff and they're getting more money than Liberia while we're supposed to be in that position. But we don't even recognize the weight that we have because the people in position don't have the weight that we need to be in that position for us to recognize that weight that we can go and really go and do things for our country and bring in more investment into our country, put Liberia on the map and make Liberia, I always say that, make Liberia the lighthouse of Africa. We deserve that. And until Liberians can learn how to vote right, it's not going to happen. I was very disappointed in John Molu when he was interviewed the other day on that network, stating that, if they don't take time, anything they go for now, we will be president. For him to even utter that is a disgrace to Liberia and Liberians, and especially to the people, a lot of Liberians that have the capability to lead Liberia to the right road and push us forward. And I was very disappointed in that. But those are the kind of people Liberians look up to, and that's why they will continue to change our road to where we're supposed to go. But right now, where we are, some of us will continue to fight until our last breath. At least we'll say that we've done our part for Liberia to go on the right road and the right trajectory. Thank you.
You're muted. You're muted. Dr. Peabody, you're muted.
Oh, welcome, Robert, and welcome, Alex. But Robert, tell us what's on your mind quickly, and we're talking about what is the president gained from his trip to South Korea. So welcome, Robert. Welcome, author and the writer, journalist Alex Chuchu Jones. Welcome to the Closing Argument again. Good to see you.
Well, it's great to be back. Happy Monday to all of our audience and our listeners, sympathizers, and well wishers. It's good to be back. Look, I think that I stated before the president's return that I did not think that the trip I didn't think it was necessary that he made the trip personally. There were 48 countries. Of the 48, there were only 25 head of states that actually went on that trip. Many sent their foreign ministers and representatives. And for us, I don't think it was necessary for the president to have made the trip. I'm hoping that we can get a breakdown as it relates to the dollar amount that was spent on this trip, but I believe it's into millions, right? I mean, when you consider per diem and travels and accommodations and and food and things like that. We're talking about millions of dollars. And what did the president return with? He talked about um, you know, potentials, right? Interests, commitments. What are those commitments? We did not get any solid answer from him. But we expected this. I personally expected nothing to come out of this trip. But one thing I want to mention, and I've been having conversations about this, is I think we are at a point where, as a country, serious-minded people must be involved in serious-minded conversations, and we've got to up the par, right? The standard, I think, is completely low, and the expectations, have not been set by the Liberian people, not by politicians, but by the Liberian people. And the reason why I mentioned that was because, it was this particular Unity Party and others who argued that the former president, wasted taxpayer money to travel places that had no return on investments. I remember there were times where President George Weah came back with $10 million, not in commitments, not in anything of interest or whatever, but $10 million in return in investment in particular sectors. This government felt like the Unity Party and the opposition felt like it was nothing. So for them to even come and talk about scholarships when other countries were signing billions of dollars in agreement, speaks to where we find ourselves. When you look at the core of this summit, there were many, many, many agreements reached. South Korea is investing in minerals with many countries. Uh, Liberia is not even close to one of those countries that they are even thinking about. Why is that? And so I think it was a waste of money, and I'm hoping that President Joseph Boakai really succeeds. But the more we watch what's happening in our country, I mean, you're meeting leaders on the sideline of the summit when other countries like Tanzania, Ethiopia, I mean, these small countries are having state visit with the South Korean president. It speaks volume. And so when people talk about respect has returned to Liberia, respect and dignity has returned to Liberia, the question is, what are you talking about? What respect are you talking about? What dignity are you talking about? Are you talking about the change of leaders, or are you talking about true dignity and respect as depicted in South Korea? I don't see that, but I wish them the best, because I think if Joseph Boakai succeeds, our country succeeds, and we all succeed. But I mean, it's looking really, really tough right now.
Alex Jones, the author and the journalist. What do you make of President Boakai trip? What was the game there for Liberia?
Well, thank you for having me. I want to wish everyone in Liberia a very pleasant good evening. Um, Basically, I was listening to Culver, and he was telling us about the ill preparedness of the president's visit. And the fact is, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed because this was a government that said that it was prepared. This was a government that said it had experience. We criticized this government from the get-go. We projected what was going to happen, that this government was not going to be able to rescue Liberia, much less even improve the living standards. My disappointment here is to tell you how wicked these people are. We sat down and we created a farm industrialization plan, okay? A detailed plan. That plan was published on Smart News Liberia. It was shared to everybody. If they had just taken that plan to South Korea, they would have gotten at least $10 to $20 million. Okay? I have helped organizations in Africa receive that kind of money. Private organization, and you can go and check it. Water and Sanitation for Africa got $10 million on a proposal I have written for them. Because these people are so selfish. I'm not asking you to even credit me. $10 million is pocket change, is what they use for water at conference. You can't get that from South Korea. South Korea is a $1.6 billion economy. Giving you $10 million is nothing. If you would have just carried that plane and say, we want to grow food in Liberia, we need to set up a corporation and reopen our agriculture bank, and we need a $10 million, 2% loan, they would have given you it. But you went there with nothing. I'm checking the e-marshal right now for the Ministry of Agriculture website. They don't even have a website. At least when the e-marshal is down. Before I say even have a plan. So even if somebody in South Africa wants to verify you, in South Korea wants to verify your Ministry of Agriculture or whatever, they go to your website and see where your agriculture, let me see what you're doing, who the minister, let me find out. They can't even access anything. But here's a government that has a budget of $600, $700 million. So every Liberian today have lost. I didn't write our plan because I wanted credit or attention. I wrote it because I felt that food security is an important thing in Liberia. I help a lot of people in Liberia at least buy a cup of rice. If Liberia can produce their own food, it will alleviate my own support to them. It will create jobs. So, Gonglo were right. The people in government, they have these degrees, they come to school, they get a degree, but they can't show you a fitting plan. And I challenge any one of them. Of the 20 ministries in Liberia, so 19, 20 or whatever, including the Ministry of Finance, they don't have a single plan. Not one plan to say, okay, this is the plan to reduce interest rate. This is the plan to take us for 5 years, our agriculture. This is a plan for us to improve our media, our cable, or high-speed internet. They don't have a single plan. They've been in government for a while, 6 months now, almost 6 months. So every Liberian should be ashamed because $10 million is nothing. And if you can't get $10 to $20 million for agriculture, you may as well pack your bag and leave government. You're useless to society. So that's my take on it.
Tough talking. Alex Jones. Okay, guys, let me something that I understand the the president had an interview, I think with VOA or One Media, and they talk about China, and the president said that he can't take any side. What do you think about that? China and America.
Wow.
I think.
Go ahead. Did you really say so?
Yes, that was said. In fact, Professor Kennedy posted that in the chat room. That Barker said he didn't know what side he was on. He can't get on any side.
Here what I will say. I think that explains why even the United States and no other global power takes Liberia serious. Because, ordinarily in life, power concedes only to people who challenge, who threaten you. You don't concede to people who are already on your side. If I were a vassal to President Bouakai, I would actually make a statement on the issue, because I listened to Sierra Leone First Lady recently when she appeared at Harvard University. I think it was in the chat room. I watched that video. Do you know that Sierra Leone is about to build a nuclear power plant to make electricity accessible to all Sierra Leoneans and cheaper? Which country are they dealing with? Russia. And the journalist, where was she speaking? Harvard University in the United States. The actual question, she said, if the United States and Russia or China have issue, it's not Sierra Leone issue. It is their issue. They should go fight it. Our issue is electricity, affordable electricity. And that's what we're looking for. We'll go to any country that will give it to us. We don't stop talking to other countries because other countries are not talking to them. If you reflect historically, Nelson Mandela made a statement when he took power, when he became president. In fact, when he came out of jail, he welcomed Fidel Castro, Muammar Gaddafi, and others And the Western powers were like, not happy. He said, no. These people, when you guys were supporting apartheid, Gaddafi was supporting the revolution, our resistance movement. Fidel Castro was doing it. You're not going to define for us who our friends should be. And I think this should be the posture of all African nations. No Western nation should define who. We should define what our interest is.
Dave.
We should define what is our interest. If our President Bouaga, if China can give it to us, if Russia can give it to us, even North Korea can give it to us, we take it. We look for what our interest is. We don't look for what other Western power interest is.
So let me just chime in on this here.
Yeah, actually, let me just correct it. This was done on the Washington Post. I mean, the Washington Times. President Barker says he is not taking side between supporting the U.S. China.
Thank
That
you.
is a smart move. Washington Times. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that correction. I was going to kind of chime that in there. But let me say this, right? First of all, what that tells me is the president himself doesn't understand his foreign policy, neither does he even have one. Because he is supposed to be the chief architect of the foreign policy. Okay? You are to come to office with a defined foreign policy that you believe that you can implement in the best interest of your people. If the president can come and tell you, once faced with the situation, and he tell you he knows nothing or not what to say, this is again taking us back to what we talked about earlier. They are ill-prepared. They have no idea. Again, this is governance. One must understand the purpose for which you were hired to get this job done. And in order for you to be successful, you must have had your structure put in place. Who do I liaison with in order for me to achieve this? If I want to achieve agriculture, if I want to be self-sufficient in food production, who do I work along with? If I want to invest in infrastructure, how is it that I can actually seek assistance? All of these things. And he's telling you he has no idea. This is the easiest discussion topic I will even speak to. President Boycott simply told us that he has no foreign policy. And if he did, he probably, his foreign affairs minister probably needed to do a little bit of rehearsal. And she didn't do that with him, I meant.
Robert, you want to come in?
Yeah, but the question here is, and I think that what has been Liberia's foreign policy, and if we've ever had a defined foreign policy outside of liberalism and maintenance of our independence since 1848, then the question is, what has changed since then? What was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's foreign policy in practicality? What was, and how did that differ from that of the we as administration foreign policy, right? And how will the Joseph Boyga's foreign policy differ from his two predecessors? Liberia have not had, from my understanding, any defined foreign policy outside of the maintenance of defending its independence. And defending Liberia's independence has not just been done by the Liberian government since the inception of its independence. It has been aided 99.99% by the Americans. If you go on the website, on the Foreign Ministry website, I want to read what I saw, and I'm not sure if this defines anything, but it says the Liberian foreign policy is firmly rooted in its political ideology of liberalism, democracy, and capitalism. This foundation is copied after the pattern adopted by the United States of America, from where the founding fathers of Liberia had come as ex-slaves and freedmen colors. Liberia have not had any defined foreign policy. You know, and so the question is, what is Joseph Boaga's foreign policy? What is Joseph Boaga's foreign policy? And if Joseph Boaga has if we have any idea of what Joseph Boaga foreign policy is, then maybe it's a reflection of the selection of his foreign minister. But if Joseph Boaga is saying, well, I am not going to pick a side between the fight against China and the United States, then maybe it's an idea of the path that Joseph Boaga wants to take with regards to his foreign policy. The question that we must ask ourselves as Liberians is this a wise choice based on our core relationship with the United States and the immense support we've gotten from them? I think that should be the discussion. And if we are having this discussion from our perspective, I think it's vague, and I think it's not strategic. There's one thing to say, look, we want to eat. We want the big boys to fight, and we don't want to get messy in their fights. But Liberia must have a side. Liberia can say we're not going to pick a side between China and U.S. fight. What are they fighting about? What are the details? Are we talking about human rights violations? And what are our position on human rights violation? You have got to be very specific in what you support when it comes to the U.S. and China, and what you don't support when it comes to the U.S. and China. You don't just come on national radio or TV and say, well, Liberia does not have a pick yet. There are specific disagreement between the United States and the Chinese government. So the Liberian government must do its due diligence, understand what the battles are, understand what our own core values are, and what we support based on our own core values as a country, and what we would not support based on our own core values as a country, whether or not the U.S. supports us or not. So I think the president have got some work to do. They've got to be clear on what the Liberian government position is, and what specifically do they support when it comes to China and the U.S., and what specifically they do not support. I think we deserve that as a serious country.
Great. Yes. We know that the United States have been there for Liberia. We call them our traditional partner. In fact, we can't even make certain decision. Everything that happened in our government, the first thing we wait for America to come up and respond before we, take certain action. What will America do? What, in the situation? But what is your point on this? The vice president said he cannot take side. What between China and Liberia? What do you think about that?
I'm not going to speak on a specific, like Kagwa said, that they need to be very open and explain to the public or what in what relations are they speaking about. I will speak to the vagueness of the statement. Now, the vagueness of the statement shows that Joseph Boaga is trying to remain neutral in anything that the American, do or the Chinese do. He's trying to maintain the sovereignty of our country. But for you to do that, for you to be in that position, you also have to come with it comes with challenges. So is he willing? Because everything Liberia does is dependent on America as a whole. We copy everything about America. We copy everything, every doggone thing about our country, about this country that I live in. So what are you depending on making that kind of statement? You see, so the vagueness of the statement is that, he needs to come out and be more open on what specifics is he talking about. But as far as we're concerned, I don't know if Liberia can survive or America. Now, China is there. They're doing their thing. You have to be very, very wise and very, very strategic in use of trying to remain neutral. Because when America starts to withdraw things from Liberia, it's not going to be any joke. And we all know that Chinese thing can be fake. America thing is original. So what are you doing, Mr. President?
Alex, is this a smart move or a cowardly move by the president? Other countries have said, we're going to move on. We saw in other African countries where France and others were kicked out. Is this time for Liberia to say, no, we cannot rely on America so wholly and solely, or we can we'll be friendly with anybody, who can help us. So how will you look at the move by the President Boaga? Is it a great move, cowardly, or what? Tell me about it. Can you hear us, Alex? You're muted. Are we not hearing you?
I didn't hear the question too well.
Okay.
I would just...
I'm saying that the move by President Boaga, being neutral, Is that in the best interest of the Liberian foreign policy? Is it chaotic? Is it a cowardly move, or is that the right thing to do?
Well, you see, and that's why I like to substantiate my criticism, because I know a lot of foolish people just all the thing I criticize. I don't think anything is wrong with that being neutral. We're not in a Cold War, or we're not in a war between America and China. This is a matter of business dealings. If you go to China and China can provide loans or open a factory or increase trade in Liberia, I don't think American State Department worrying about if China put $50 million in Liberia, agriculture or industry. Okay, so neutrality here is not the issue. The issue here is simply the government capability. You are, again, like I said, you are expecting someone who does not have the ability to deliver. Joseph Boakai does not have the ability as a proven and successful manager. Okay, this is the fact. You can sit here all you want to hope. You can sit here, or it's like taking Alex Jones and say, go play for the Lone Star. Or go manage go be the captain for the Lone Star team. They'll beat all 50-1. That's not what Alex Jones does. So you have to put things in perspective. Right now, the major problem in Liberia is the economy. Okay? You have commerce and industry. We never hear industry. We never hear commerce, because they don't even know that's the correct name of the commerce. Is Commerce, Ministry of Commerce, Trade, and Industry, right? That's what it's called. What is our trade? What is our industry? Okay, like I said, you have an agriculture ministry with millions of dollars in budget that does not even have a website, or how much to put a website, and you still got a minister running around. So, the issue of foreign policy, it's not a big deal. Sierra Leone is neutral. All right. Most of these countries in Africa, Ghana is neutral. Nigeria is neutral. It's on a case-by-case basis. But when it comes to investment, the only reason, and I will hammer this point, the only reason why our government did not get anything in return and they will not get anything going forward is simply because you got a lot of stupid people in government that cannot sit down and write a proposal. That's it. They want to be passing around the D calabash and wearing suit and be on Facebook, when they can take their time and just write a proposal. Even the proposal is bad. If you cannot write a proposal, you should not be here in a ministry. If you cannot, simply articulate what do you want somebody to help you with. The problem here is, if you go to America or China, or you can go anywhere in the world, the people are going to ask you, what is your proposition? What can we do for you? Your job is to say, all right, I need electricity. The question they're going to ask you again is, okay, if we invest $100 million in your electricity, how are we going to get our money back? Okay, and that's the question that most of our people can't answer. If we gave you $20 million to go do rice production, how are we going to get our money back? What if the government changes? So we have, what you call educated ignoramus around. You can't. It's unfallible that the entire government. I used to be hammering this point for last year, and this does not come as a result of the government. Political parties do not have a platform. They do not have a policy. So when we be seeing these things, then people be like, oh yeah, you're personal on this stuff. Most political parties today does not have an ideology, does not have a platform to tell you what they're going to do with education, to tell you what they're going to do with investment, to tell you what they're going to do with agriculture. So when these people get elected, then you wonder and say, oh, why they don't have a plan? They never show you a plan. Boakai never show you an agricultural plan, did he? Did Boakai show you an employment plan? Did he? You're the journalist. So why are you expecting him now to manufacture one? Where should you take it from? All of his rear and give you it? All the man is doing is traveling and enjoying himself and getting $2,000 a month until his administration finish, and you will say we did our best.
You say you get $2,000 a month? $2,000?
$2,000 a day, a day. For the travel, the president. That's what they're doing. So those scheduled trips, they go, they stay in 5-star hotel, They stay in 5-star hotel. They eat gourmet food. They shake hands. They take pictures with their nice clothes. They come back. They don't have any policy. If you have an agricultural policy, why is it not on your website? Why is the president not talking about it? If you have an education policy, why is the Ministry of Education not publishing that? And why our journalists then? What instead of not asking those questions, they're praising these people.
Let me.
So that's our problem. It's not foreign policy. It's the fact that we don't know.
Can I disagree with Alice 1 minute?
Okay, we gotta go to Julius. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say this, right? This is part of the reason why.
We'll come back to you, Robert. We're gonna come back to you.
Oh, you want to? Okay. This is part of the reason why we continue to find ourselves in circles. You cannot say because the population often follow the numbers, so you buy into the idea of buying into the numbers or argument. You make the argument that vast majority of the people would buy the number argument, and then you come back and say, but this person did not present an idea. Maybe our focus should be on what did you present as that ideology or that agenda upon your ascendancy that you will implement upon. Unfortunately, we don't focus on that. The last elections, what did we hear people say? The person who had the number at the time was the person who needed the support. Because we had competent people in the race, we didn't support them. You know what we did? We focused our attention on those who were, in quotation, popular, those who had the numbers. So those who had a number dwelt on the idea that they had a number, so they needed not to prove anything. And that's part of the reason why Joseph Boyka stood up, or Madam Yombi Kangalore stood up and said, Joseph Boyka didn't have to campaign. And people heard that. But yet and still, they made the case for Joseph Boyka. Educated people subscribed to his candidacy and supported him. Then in this case, how can you say, after you have done such a thing, that you want to blame others for your action? No. There were qualified candidates in the race. You had the opportunity to support one of them. Instead, you didn't do that. You subscribed to the numbers value. And here we are today. We are not struggling because the numbers and popularity is what got us here. And that's what gave us George Weah in the first place. And now it got us President Joseph Boyka.
Robert, go ahead.
Thank you. So no, Alex, I fundamentally disagree with you. I disagree with what you just said about being neutral is not a problem. I think it is a problem. It's a problem. And you have got to put things in perspective. Disagreeing with the United States on foreign policy, I don't think is a problem, right? And if Liberia, as an independent nation, based on its core values, can disagree with the United States on a specific issue with regards to other nations, then we must be explicitly clear on what that disagreement is. And so for the president to vaguely say we are neutral, what neutrality are you taking here? I'll give you an example. The US is in direct competition with China. They've made that clear. And what they've been working on over the decades is to maintain that disagreement and to ensure that that disagreement does not roll over into some conflict. They've been very clear with that. That's one. Two, the US have on numerous occasions cautioned and spoke out against China high altitude balloon that invaded the US airspace and 48 other countries on 3 separate continents. This is not a secret. It's made the news. The US has also frowned on China's relationship with the Russians and these wars. When it comes to democracy, something that is pinpointed in our foreign policy online, we are a country of democracy. We don't believe in prisoner of wars. We don't believe in political prisoners. We believe in democracy. The US does as well. China is a whole different story. They have a record of doing things unconstitutionally. They have a record of locking people. They don't believe in democracy out there. Look at what happened recently with the Chinese and Russia. Even the economy, they don't align with much of the world on fair economic practices, something that the United States have spoke out against. And so when you come out and say we are neutral on the war between on the conflict between China and the US, you've got to be unequivocal. Because the US and China are not at war right now. They're in a direct competition, and they have specific disagreement when it comes to democracy and human rights. So Liberia don't have any position on human rights, locally and internationally. Liberia don't have any position on the free market, locally and internationally. Liberia don't have any issue with China invading other countries' airspaces without any clear explanation of why they did that. Look at what happened recently when the entire world was at a standstill with COVID-19. They were not forthcoming. This thing came from China. They refused to close the airports. They refused for folks to wear masks at an appropriate time. So these are specific international and foreign policy issues that we expect our government to have specific position on. So no, I disagree with you. The problem is being neutral, especially when we don't know specifically what your foreign policies are, and specifically what do you agree with China and disagree with China, and what do you agree with the U.S. and disagree with the U.S. Any intellectual person and any sound-minded people who run a serious country, my people, should be able to be explicit in these. So you can't just say neutrality is a good thing. No, it's not. That means we support everything that happens in China, whether it's good or bad. We support it. And one last point I want to make: when you talked about we will work with every country that willing to help us, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the president, candidate saying, "I will dance with the devil to become president." Doesn't matter the character. Doesn't matter if this person has a tainted record. Doesn't matter if this person is a convict, a criminal. I will dance with this devil as long as he or she can help me become president. We do not want to lead our country that way. You cannot dance with the devil when it comes to foreign policy. We must be clear.
Let me say this. Welcome, Professor
Maybe
Kennedy.
about it.
Okay.
We are 30 seconds before
Okay,
Professor
go ahead, and then
Kennedy.
we'll go to Professor Kennedy.
Yeah, Professor is good to see you. But let me say something to two of you guys, okay? First of all, I think you misunderstand what the word qualification means, because I think Lofa Julius are talking about we have better, more qualified candidate. All right, I think you all need to be more clear about what it means to be qualified for a position. Because when you say somebody is qualified, you can't tell me Sarah Yenti is not qualified for the position of foreign ministry. She has a degree, she has work experience. Okay. Somebody can have a degree and have experience. Somebody can be the CEO of a corporation and still not be qualified to run a position. So God, I know the idea, the concept here is you had Alex Cummings, you had the other person, and they didn't select it. Alex Cummings did not articulate a clear plan in terms of economic development in Liberia. I know that because that's my area of expertise, and I run the organization. I've listened to him. He could not articulate a simple plan on how you move the country forward. So there's nothing personal, okay? They say he jumped behind Boyka, and it went with the same popularity. Instead of selling your plan, I have a plan. You read that plan. Whether you agree with me, you disagree with me, I feel that's a plan that can move Liberia forward. So, Robert, the second thing I'm going to talk about here is, I see you're a fine gentleman. You have your little dog. You live a very good life. You have a job, and you dress very well, and that's good. But all this thing you're talking about all Liberian foreign policy and all that kind of stuff, the average Liberian person just looking for a $50 job and just looking for food to eat and somewhere to get money. They're not interested in what a Liberian government have policy with China or have policy with America. Okay? And Larry can speak to it. The fact remains here is, what is the economic plan of these political leaders? And what is the economic plan to employ people in Liberia to set up manufacturing? All that other thing you're talking about, the U.S. have an economic plan. That's what you employ. What can these people say that will give people jobs in Liberia, that the people who can work, to give them a little income every month so that they can take care of their family just like you, so they can buy the little food, because they watch you, they envy.
So we should have no red line.
Thank you very much.
We should have no red line.
Let's let the professor come in.
Yeah,
but let me, Professor, hello, quick. I just want to say something to Alex. You can't come here and tell us that Sarah Nyanti is qualified for the position. So just to be clear, somebody who has
I'm glad to see your
6
disagree.
months, we will not allow you to say that on this platform. Thank you.
I'm glad to see you disagree. Please, you disagree.
Listen, they're doing some work around here, so my internet is kind of sketchy right now. But let me say something real quick on that whole China thing and why I think you got to take a position. And let me tell you, I know Alex is saying that the laymen, the people that in Liberia, they're just looking for the next meal to eat. But let me tell you why that is important, right? Because when Ebola hit, it was the U.S. that stepped up and spent almost $1 billion in order to support Liberia. When the U.S. put out something like the MCC Compact, almost like $500 million or so, they put that in terms of grants. What you see going on right now, there's sort of a neo-colonialism, right? A lot of the people who came to Africa early on came to grab the resources from Africa to build their country. That whole thing is starting to recycle itself. It's starting to happen again. So you're seeing a lot of the European nations, even the US, they're all in Africa right now because they're looking for those resources. But I think because Liberia has a history and a relationship, a deep-rooted relationship with the US, I think taking a stand and simply saying, look, this would be my recommendation, right? I would say, look, we got to take a stand. You can't kind of sit on the fence and kind of straddle the fence and say, I'm not going to take a position in this, because Liberia has a good relationship with the U.S. The U.S. has been with Liberia for a very long time. And over the past maybe 30, 40 years, the U.S. has spent almost $17 billion in terms of foreign aid and other support to Liberia. Whereas China is still the new kid on the block. They're just coming to Africa for resources. I wouldn't try to make China my enemy, but I wouldn't go out if I had a choice between who is my friend, who's my, the people I would go with the U.S. So because, and this is why this is important to the layman. Look at the Liberians in the diaspora, right? During Liberians in the diaspora, you don't see them flocking over to China. We wouldn't be readily accepted in the Chinese environment, whereas the U.S. is considered sort of the melting pot. You have people from different regions, different countries. You're able to blend in America and do well. As an African, I don't believe I will be able to blend easily in China. I just don't think it will happen. So I think it's that relationship with the U.S. that if someone were to ask me, hey, listen, between China and the U.S., who are you going to put support for? In terms of foreign policy, I would kind of side with the U.S. And this is important because somewhere along the line at the United Nations, a vote is going to come up where Liberia have to take a stance. That whole thing of abstaining, that's sort of somebody who's just trying to, kind of play games or something. But it's important to take a side and stick with that side. You don't have to agree with everything they say or do. You can be against the U.S. in their support for Israel in terms of what's going on against the Palestinians in Gaza. You can be against them for that, right? Because they're doing one thing in the Ukraine, but they have another policy when it comes to the Palestinians. You don't have to support them for that. But when it comes down to certain things, you have to look at the history of the U.S. The U.S. has spent an awful lot of money in Liberia. The fact that you go over to the U.S., you go to the World Bank, you go to the IMF, all these other agencies to try to, I think you got to take a stand. So if I were advising the president, I would tell him to take a stand. Don't straddle the fence and try to be on both sides. And again, folks, we can agree to disagree. But I think on this one, I would kind of side with Robert because he made some very salient points, right? He made some very solid points, so I'll stick with him on that. In terms of the traveling over to South Korea, look, the reason why countries try to go to this summit is because you create relationships. There are opportunities for multilateral agreements. There are so many opportunities to kind of put your country on the roadmap. People can see that you're a serious country, right? So you go to these events, but you got to go there with a plan. You got to go there and say, look, by the time we leave, let's make sure we have at least maybe 100 million or so in some bilateral agreement. You have, and then you ask yourself, how am I going to achieve that? So then you need to have a roadmap and a game plan. So by the time you come back to your country and hit the ground, boom, you're giving a news conference and you're telling the people back home what you have accomplished. But we rarely see that in Liberia. You know, presidents travel, they have a good time, they come back. We don't see or hear anything about it for a while. But you know, I think we need to change that to a certain extent. So yeah, that was my inside, Doc. And I see my internet is flickering over here. So let me switch over to a hotspot and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, guys, let's go back. There's another trending topic here. The Liberian refugee returning. And apparently it appears that the government did not make plans. They did a swift job, which was great. I felt the Liberians needed to go home. I felt the condition was bad. You know, it was worse. You know, but before I come to this topic, one area that I really thought that the president would have taken advantage of when he went to Seoul, South Korea, was in the fishing industry, because the fishery industry. I've been to Korea. 98, I was there for about 9 weeks with my university, and one thing I observed that, I mean, there were a lot of Koreans who were even coming up to me and telling me, "Hey, we want to deal with, you know, fishing Liberia. We want to bring our boat and different thing, our fishing boat thousands and stuff like that." In fact, some folks said they used to go to Liberia and all of that. The fishing industry is large in South Korea. In fact, there's a place that there's a whole town, and it's all about fishing in South Korea. I think it was a place called Jeju, Busan, one of those areas. I thought the president would have even taken the Emma Blasco with her and said, "Let's go and make arrangements." All, but nothing like that. They rolled their business. I think what Liberians are doing, this government is doing. The president enjoying his retirement. I just saw a photo today. With the first lady in Atlanta, and even the protocol with the first lady. They are not even doing the due diligence on who meeting the first lady or not. There's a guy that was there who opposed with the first lady. This guy is being on the verge of being deported from Atlanta because of drug. He was dealing with marijuana and all of that. Then the mayor of Monrovia was at a conference. He flew down to Atlanta, and they're all standing there taking photos with these guys, and they are not the protocol not really directing on who the first lady meeting and all these kind of things bring. I don't know, but it seemed like a photo up, retirement, you know, fun enjoyment, and it just the money is just flowing and moving all around. You know, they are traveling, and what does Liberia gain from this? You know, John Mullu made a statement. I heard it. He said that we are sleeping in a dirty bed. Okay. So we are bad. The place was dirty. You come in there. You said the same bed that you said was very dirty. All you did was to put a sheet on top, and you said is laying on that bed right now and enjoying and just moving on. You don't care what happened. You don't care what is going on in the country. And that's what we're saying. Nothing has changed in Liberia, and we know that nothing will change in that place. That I know very well. That we come to power. Liberia just have this public beat mouth. Will change it. Look at Monrovia now. I think part of Monrovia flooded. But yes, you bring the Liberian refugee home, which I applaud them for doing. Strong action. But the president did not even launch a donation drive calling on businesses in the country to come up and to knit so that we can adequately prepare to bring these people home. In fact, years ago, when Liberians were sent home from Ghana, the president of Liberia, Dr. William R. Tolbert, was at the airport, at the seaport to welcome the Liberians home, to show them that, yes, you're welcome. But nothing like that was done. They brought the people back and just took them everywhere. And some of the photos were shown today, and see where the Liberians, the folks are staying. Even worse than no reason why someone said they didn't want to leave Ghana. Because, I mean, there are a lot of places in Liberia that you could have taken these people. They could have been there, and you take them to places and just abandon them. I even heard that the LRRC, most of the funds even went missing that the people should have gotten for for food and other things. They may use the money, and then they started calling the people Zogo. I want us to chime in on this quickly before we get to the next topic. So, Robert, you went to the camp. You saw the condition of people. So let me start with you as well. Robert, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. What? Say that again. Oh, what was the? I'm sorry. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, we're talking about the Liberian returnees from Ghana.
Oh yeah. With the drug situation
and the situation that they are in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So look, I think that I mean I can speak from firsthand. I during my my visit to the camp, you could see that not only were those guys challenging when it comes to food and water and things like that. There were lots of health related issues as well, and especially with regards to drugs. I tell you, I spoke with a lot of young men, while walking along those roads on the camp, and you could tell that something was missing. And so, not only are those guys traveling with those drugs, but they are actually taking them as well. I don't think that they have any intention of selling. To be honest, I think that they are, they are taking their own supplies, and I would have thought that the government would have done its due diligence and just do a full assessment of the challenges on that camp. Because anyone will tell you that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, none of that, right? But just by interacting with them, it was very, very clear that there was some, mental health, drug-related issues there. Think about, being on an isolated camp. A lot of these guys don't have the support system, no great education. Some of them are combatants as well. They came for a new start after the government did not put anything in place for reintegration, and unfortunately, their hopes were left on the wayside when this program got shut down, right? And they look to drugs for life, and this is what it is. And so I would have hoped that the government would have been proactive, to be quite honest with you. And so I hope now that I don't think this should be a case. I read somewhere where I heard that there was a possibility of prosecution with those who were caught with these drugs. I think they should look at this case and deal with this case as a case study, and really look to helping these young men. I don't think they deserve jail time. I don't think they deserve prosecution. I think what they need is some serious rehabilitation help from the government. And if the government have a plan to reintegrate all of these people and have them resettled properly, accommodation, sheltering, food would not be the only thing, but education, technical skills, counseling. A lot of things must be addressed. A lot of things holistically have to be addressed with those guys, because I think there's a lot of problems. There were mothers who were sick. Some of them, I think you saw it firsthand. There were kids who were exposed to a lot of different things out on that camp. And so I hope that the government look at this and say, look, I think these guys need help. We will help them, and we'll ensure that they are productive citizens when they get out there. Thank you.
Lofa, you brought this up. Robert, we want to talk about the condition that they are living in right now, especially returning from the refugee camp. Lofa, you brought this out. You want to talk about it?
Oh, sure. Look, I was, and then I followed this. Yes, Cindy, Sister Cindy, and another lady. I think another lady was. I do actually working on the program to, raise funds to purchase food for folks at the camp. and they were talking about the current situation and how they're living, their living condition. I guess they're at a place where the roof is leaking, and they have to adjust themselves while everything is happening. But this is what I want to highlight, Dr. Peabody. I spoke of preparation. If you don't prepare adequately, it's more than likely that you will fail, and you will fail miserably. This is the case with Liberia and Liberian often. We are very reactive. We are not proactive. We don't put in place mechanisms that will help us to be successful, okay, in the event of such situation where Liberians are coming home. You would think that we would already have some kind of program put in place where start off package. When they get to Liberia, this is their country. What start off package did we give them? We saw people handing them phones. Is that how they're supposed to be a part of the society? How is it that you had a group of Liberians? Not only are they coming from another country, but it's like a start over, because now they're coming back to Liberia, I agree, but they've been away from the country for so long. And you are denigrating them. As a matter of fact, you are calling them names. You're calling these people names, and it's not because they simply want to do it. It is not because they are heartless, but because they have no plans. They have no idea as to what to do. So those who are involved in healthcare and other things, you would think that they will probably have planned better. Look, we are bringing back Liberians, and this incident been ongoing for the past how many months? You went to Ghana. You sent me some of the footage from your trip to Ghana. Okay, you were there with them. We had ample time to plan as to how we can bring these people back to Liberia and have them incorporated in our society, because they are part of the society. You're already complaining about the issue of drug abuse, and you're referencing them as Zogo and whatever you're calling them, but you have no plans. So at the end of the day, guess what happens to them? They end up as victims, and they become vulnerable to all of these different substances that are in the streets. It don't matter where you put them, you must have plans for them. So when I saw that these people were almost like living at the outside, they had no food, it just spoke to the inability of the government to actually represent her people. And this is what we will often highlight: the failure on the part of the government and her inability. Incompetence is at the highest. That is the only thing I can speak to. Thus far, I don't see anything that is really going on for those young men and women, especially. They have kids. There are babies out there. What are we doing for them? I don't know. Any other country would have had some kind of a subsidy program and giving them at least food, the proper shelter to get them back into society. But unfortunately, we may end up having more abusers of drugs and other things as compared to having citizens who are supposed to be coming back to Liberia to help build the country, because they have learned, acquired needed education, and they're coming back to provide help for the workforce. That is not going to be the case.
Before I go to Alex, like you said, Lofa, we have to plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Yes. And that's what we are seeing. I felt that this whole process, and as I said, I commend the Vice President Cohn, who assured me that they were going to work on it and bring the Liberia home. But even bringing those people home, they were not prepared. The president did not take a lead, did not make any statement about it. I thought he would have taken the lead by bringing in businesses and say, hey, we want to build this for the Liberian people. We want to build this. We want to give them food. There are a lot of businesses that you could have had a special, president fundraiser, something he could have had, so that encouraging the business community, Liberians, to donate to the returns of Liberians from Ghana. In fact, when I was in Ghana, when I went there the first time as a refugee, the Ghanaian government spoke with all the businesses. They encouraged them. And almost every week, there were businesses coming into camp with food, clothes, medicine, and different groups were coming and donating because Liberian refugees were coming to Ghana. But it's really sad. They have eating the L triple IRC. Some of them have eaten the people money, and they put them in these very terrible places where they could even get sick and die. Some of the places it's leaking, the rain is flowing in there, and all of that. And it's sad. I hope somebody listening or hearing us today will take some action to really safeguard these people that are returning. But Larry, let me hear from you, and Alex, let me hear from you at this point.
Yeah, Dr. Peabody, I like to relate to people in the discipline, right? And I know you are, theologian. They say the Bible says that people suffer for the lack of vision. I think I'm putting that.
When there's no vision, the people perish.
The people perish, right? And that's the problem in Liberia, because this knee-jerk thing where tomorrow is going to be something else in Nuku time, the next day is going to be something. To me, it's just not the way you govern a country. The idea here is when you pass a budget, okay, you pass emergency funding in the budget. In the US, they call it FEMA, which is allocation in case of emergency. They have money to deal with it. Correct?
Yep.
So all the things we're saying here is, again, it goes back to the lack of knowledge and the lack of people perish in Liberia because of that. Right. All the major political parties have people in the House of Representatives or the Senate. Okay, I haven't heard one of them come on and say, this budget, we need to incorporate some kind of emergency fund, even $1 million or $500,000 in case tomorrow there's a flood or in case refugee comes from so and so place. And that speaks to the bad management and the incompetence. You're not running the country just from the president. You have a legislator. That's your job. So you can't be begging your Senate for money every time there's a problem. You be begging Alex Jones, people be putting money. That's not how you run a government. You don't have individuals don't have enough money to solve the problems in society. They can help. Red Cross can help. But Red Cross cannot shoulder the responsibility of the United States government if there was an accident or an emergency. So that's our fundamental problem. And I'll go back to this point. It's like we like this horror thing. Look, I don't care if Peabody that president, that Joseph Luther Jr. that president, whoever, it doesn't matter. All I want to see is a plan. Your plan cannot be an individual, because the individual can get hit by a bus. You understand? No sensible person, nobody in business management, okay, or corporation, or in any kind of serious industry will say, my plan is that Alex Jones. Why is Alex Jones going to be in wake up tomorrow? So that's the problem I have with our politicians. People are supporting them. They are not supporting the plan. The plan should be the one that leads you to say, I'm going to support XYZ because I looked at his policy and I saw he has contingencies. He has a way to grow the economy. He has a way to incorporate me, you, Larry, everybody else into our government and raise our GDP to help people. That is what my focus is, and that is what I think we are missing in this whole conversation in Liberia. We keep seeing George Weah. Where is George Weah playing? George Weah was there for 6 years. He did not have a plan. And that's why, again, people are going to come out and say, okay, let's bring George Weah. No, I'm not disagreeing with George. It's fine. I'm not disagreeing with coming. Show me your plan tomorrow if you're president. And that was why Boycott got into power. Arrest is a slogan. It's not a plan. And I kept screaming to the Liberian people, the educated ones, how can you follow somebody that tell you, say, arrest? Education, rules. How are you going to solve those problems is what you need to put out. So every day will come new problems in Liberia, but until we have leaders that can say, while I'm not heading this organization today, right? This organization can still survive because what? This is the blueprint. Like you're building a house, it's a blueprint. So if the chief engineer don't come to work tomorrow, other people can grab that blueprint and they can run with it. And Robert, you work in hospitality management. If the Marriott CEO tomorrow resign, Marriott will still function. Right? They will still function. The guests won't even realize what happened.
if 5 of the executive leave tomorrow, but only in Liberia where our plan is the individual. So that's why I disagree with you people.
Okay.
Show me the plan. Build a party that has ideology. Build a party that has platform that can say this is what we stand for. And if even this person is not here today, this is what we stand for.
I
Oh,
think
so
that's
I was talking totally different thing. I wasn't talking about your question.
but we couldn't. No, you were fine. We just couldn't jump.
So that's my take on the refugee. We have a
All right,
Ministry
so
of Youth and Service. We have a Ministry of Health. Budget allocation should be in that ministry, in those ministries, to accommodate these kinds of situations. It shouldn't be collecting money every time there's a problem. It's
I
bad
agree with you.
leadership and management.
I agree with you. The fire. Everybody have forgotten for fire and people home burning now. They have forgotten about it.
Exactly.
Senator Sir Joseph proposed in the Senate a bill so that they could put there and get fire truck and all of that. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody until we have another major fire in Monrovia, and then we say, "Oh, we don't have fire truck. Oh, only one fire truck for the half in the country and it's coming and all of that." Everybody forgotten about fire now. Until a major building get burned, then the next thing you say. But let that move on, guys. And Robert, you'll be the first we're going to come to. I read a post from Senator Amara Coney over the weekend, and I want to read it. He said the Liberian Senate is in Buchanan, Liberia's second seaport city, where minerals and timbers are exported, and is one of the legs of Liberia growth triangle. It has a CLSG power substation and a basic market, but no light. What a contradiction. I want to come up to this. Senator Yumli Kanga has been there for probably 12 or more years. I don't know. Yeah, probably 12 or less than 12 years.
I think 18 years.
18 years. Thank you.
18 years. Yeah.
She's been there. And even yesterday, I watched a video. The major hospital in Bassar didn't even have medical supplies. The same side Joseph again had to take container of medical supplies to give to the hospital. Yeah, people will say, "Oh yeah, it's not his duty. He's a senator, and he should be putting money in the budget for them to put support." Yeah, is it? The senator, Yumli Kanga, Bassar is the second largest seaport, major gateway to Liberia economy. It does not have light. Basic areas, like Amara said, the markets and other things, people moving up and down. I'd like to hear your input. I'd like to hear on that, and then we'll go to Ellis, and then Julius will come back and talk about it.
This is the reason why, disagree with the guy all day. But this is the reason why I like Sir Amara Coney. He's not a perfect leader. He's not a perfect public servant. But I think that he has shown to be very objective in his assessments. And he has been outspoken on these issues. And I remember during the elections, I got into Facebook back and forth on a post that I made that generated close to 300-400 comments about the fact that I believed then and now that Senator Lawrence is a failure to the people of Bassar. And I'm from Bassar. My father is from Trade Town, and my father have played an integral role in the Unibar Association in America and the Bassar Association right in Georgia. The fact of the matter is, we as a people have not been able to elect the right representatives. And Bassar is not unique to Liberia's issues when it comes to a lack of true representation in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. This is just the truth. These guys do not truly care about the transformation of their respective counties. Neither do they care about the transformation of our country, Liberia. This is also the reason why I think that I would not do too well as a politician in Liberia, because I do not believe in this selective. People are very selective when it comes to when they speak up, who they speak up against, and so forth. So I think we have got to be honest. Senator Lawrence has been in the Senate for how long? I think it
18,
was
almost 18
it
years.
was a year ago or 2 years ago perhaps when she said that she lit the entire Buchanan City when it had all these cheap street lights and put out these solar system. And I said, for long-term purposes, how sustainable are those? And people were dancing. People were dancing in the city. And this was done around election time. This was done around election time. When are we going to see true infrastructure development, not only from our leaders, but from our government? True development. True development, breaks my heart. And if you look at the leadership of Grand Bassa in most counties, they've been recircled. They've been recircled. If it's not Senator Lawrence, it's the Fentleys. If it's not the Fentleys, it's something else. These names continue to, and this is the reason why you have people like Abraham Darrell Dillon. This is the reason why these guys are around these people. These people are not smart. It breaks my heart when you hear Liberian talk about the smart people in our country. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I mean, these are people. They are true reflection of what incompetence is. And look at our president. When we talk about experience, Dr. Peabody, the man has been in public service for 40 some years. But what is there to show for those services? What is there to show? The senator has been. We continue, and this is the reason why the last time when God bless his heart, Representative Ability was on the show, and I like what he's doing in his county. I like the development that he's doing. But we cannot continue to develop our country from this individual perspective. Individualism, this humanitarianism, Sir Joseph, some of the best lawmakers in our country are some of the best humanitarians in our country. But when you ask about laws that have transformed their district and by extension the entire country, you can't see that. In other countries, they are putting in place infrastructure. They're investing in bills to build cities, to build. When are we going to build a new city? Because we know Monrovia is congested. These are progressive ideas by law, legislature that we want to see transform our country. But what do we do? We wait when election comes. These guys go and play with the intelligence of our people, and because they have not seen light, and some of them have not seen light since they were born, they are rejoicing and they're rejoicing, and then we're back to square one. And so Buchanan is a failed city. Grand Bassa has a lot of potential, but unfortunately, they have not tapped into their very best. They have not tapped into their very best. To be a real Bassa man does not mean you must speak Bassa all the time. To be a real Bassa man does not mean you must have a name or household name in Bassa. I think the Bassa people must wake up, and we will speak up, Dr. Peabody. As a Bassa boy, when these elections comes around, we will be in Liberia. We'll use our own resources. We will campaign against these people, even if it means that we take away 5 votes, 10 votes from them. We will do that. We will no longer sit back and allow these people to continue to hold on to power when they have produced absolutely nothing. As a Bassa boy, it saddens me to see this. It saddens me.
Julius. Okay, can't hear you.
The issue of Madam Yumbi Kanga is almost like this is the formula for Liberia failure. The fact that we are always buying into the failed idea of formal what household names, or we are often claiming that someone doesn't understand the dynamics of Liberia politics. Going forward, we need a disruptor, someone who will go in there like what Representative Musa Hassan Benedi is doing right now. And to some extent, I will credit what's his name, Yeke Koluba, for the way he's exposing it. Even though I disagree with his approach and the way he's vocal with it, but to be honest, when you look at the Yumbi Kanga Lawrence, you look at the Alex Tyler, You look at the what's this other guy? Edwin Snow. These are all people who are simply just riding on the gullible nature of some of our people. They understand the gullibility of our society, so they use it to their advantage. Madam Yombi Kanga Lawrence knew all along that had she gone alone to Grand Bassa County, she wouldn't have won the election. She wrote on the CPP and then selfishly ran away or distorted everything that could possibly give Liberia a change. Because you know what? They want to maintain the status quo. When you see these politicians doing these things, it's not because they don't know. The reality is you must do certain things in a certain way to achieve what you want. They understand that development cannot be done as an individual. That's the reason why it is expected of you to carry on legislative projects. And that is why you advocate for your people as a lawmaker. How much is allocated in the budget for development in my county? How is this going to get? How many people will get employed? The issue of healthcare. If you're concerned, if you have major healthcare institutions in the country, are they being financially supported? How much are we allocating to these institutions and how effective are they? These are none of their concerns. They will wait to the very last minute and then they start these individual projects. And that's the reason why I frown on the likes of Sir Joseph and other people for these individual projects. We want legislative projects implemented. We don't want individuals to run around here and try to shine the lights. These are some of these are some of the things that we will frown on. I supported Senator Darius DeLong because when I listened to DeLong prior to his ascendancy to this position today, he was very vocal about all of the ills, the bad governance practices, all of those things. I applauded him for the fact that he was courageous enough. But you know what? These guys understand how to fool the people. Like, I'm going to do it from outside. And then they will claim I am incapacitated to get it done because I'm alone. That's a lie. If you sincerely want to succeed, if you have a bill that you want to be successful at, you know what you do? You start to lobby. And that is the reason why politicians are no different from advocates. You advocate for what you want, and when you get to the House, you continue to advocate and you lobby with your colleagues. When they refuse to buy into your idea, then you bring it to the public. You bring them out for public scrutiny, and once the public believes in your idea, they support you to pressurize your colleagues in the House so that they can buy into it. The Obamacare wasn't something that almost every American bought into. But you know what? It was in the media. It was on the social media. He spoke about it everywhere he went. So if Sir Joseph sincerely wants to pass this bill about the fire service, let him continuously keep his constituents abreast of the success in the House and his success with other people. Because, of course, we can't just talk about it once. Like Darius DeLong said, he was going to fight salary reduction. He talked about it once. After that, he threw it on the back burner. You know why? Because he knew it would cut his pocket in half. So all of the promises he made, he's now legging on those promises. And this is what they do. That is the reason why they will often gang on anybody who comes from the outside, considered, because they don't want that person to serve as a disruptor.
Thank you. Thank you. So you see that they have this. The hospital was down. No medical, no electricity, but they are running back and forth. I'd like Alex to come out and talk about that. That hospital was burned sometime last year, and it has to be. I mean, I know it's not Sir Joseph's place, but there's a man who received these donations from Liberia and goes there for a conference, not even from that county, and think, let me give it to Senator Yumbi counties, medical supplies, and all of that. I think that Alex, and I want you to chime in on this. I want you to, Yumbi been there almost 18 years.
I think it will get me in trouble again.
But
anyways,
did lie about Mr.
So
Cummings.
I like the word that Lofa Jula used, disruptor, and I would like to define that. It means a person or thing that interrupts an event's activity or process by causing a disturbance or problem. That's the very word, and I agree with him. That's what you need in Liberia. So the problem here is the people who want to be president in Liberia are not willing to be disruptor. They're willing. That's the problem. Because if you talk about the senior Yomble Kangai Lawrence, who supported her to be there the second time when they had elections 6 years ago, the Dyrus, who supported them. And I don't know why you guys me, because I'm just trying to speak the truth. All right. If you want to change your society, go and join it and say when I get there, then I will change it. Okay, you saw in the internet here, disruptor. The founders of Google, they didn't go to IBM and say let's work together, or Facebook, they didn't go to Xerox and say, oh, let me come join you. What they did, they united a small group in a basement, and today, who's winning? And that's the laziness of our political leaders. They do not want to do the hard work, just want to win election. They want to go and join the Young Kanga Lawrence and the Dyrus DeLong, right? Work with them, get these people elected, and then so that these people can support them. And then when these people get elected, then you start having a problem if you're asking with medical care, you start having a problem with all these things. So I agree. We need a disruptor. We need somebody who totally would say, I'm not going to align with the broadcast or the what you call the Yomble Kanga Lawrence. I'm going to have them removed. I'm going to lobby to get them removed out of their offices. Whether I win election or not, this is going to be my campaign.
Let me ask Alex a quick question. Alex, I want you to react to the norm of, the normal saying that we have in Liberia. You don't understand the dynamics of Liberian politics. Every time you engage in people, you don't understand the dynamics of Liberian politics. Once you feel like the way they have done things, it's not working. And you tell them, let's do it this way. They say, you don't understand the dynamics of Liberian politics. What is your reaction to that? Because again, to be a disruptor, you cannot follow what is customary, right? You must change something in order to achieve what you want. You agree with me on that?
You don't need to understand to answer your question. If you're a leader, you don't want to understand the dynamics of Liberian politics because you don't agree with it. So you're not going to go and say, I want to learn how you can win election in Liberia, and somebody can tell you, say, oh, you got to work with Dyrus DeLong. That's where the leaders make a lot of mistakes. And that's why I'm so hard on Cummings. That's the only reason I hire on Cummings.
Okay.
I hire on Cummings because he was an outsider. He came in to change the system. If Cummings had just stayed at ground and say, you know what? He didn't win anyway. He followed the dynamics of Liberian politics. Where did they get him? Nowhere. So you don't be mad at me. Seriously, that has been my message all along. The people who want to disrupt the society work together with other disruptors, form your group, and then attack these people. Attack the Joseph Workers, attack the Dyrus DeLong, attack the Amber Kone, because these are the people who are the status quo.
Yeah.
And this man look like he be on something today.
But Alex, the Liberian have been saying, oh, Mr. Cummings, he need to learn the grind. He's too into himself. He need to go into the corner. He need to do that. He need to get out of his shell. So the fact of the matter here is our own people don't know what they want because they are so wishy-washy, flipping here and there. They don't know what they want. Mr. Cummings will come in, he will do it. And, oh no, he needs to do it like this. Oh, he needs to go get out there more and talk. Oh, he needs to go to this other place and do this. So it's just, you don't know what the Liberian want. They just want instant gratification. Instant gratification. Get some rice, get some money, go the rough way, and they will put anybody in there.
You cannot, as a leader, the definition of a leader means you're different. If you don't agree with if a new paradigm shift, then you should not come. You should just go and join the original people. But the idea that you're saying that you're coming for change, you can't keep doing things the same way. You cannot buy that. Martin Luther King did not sit down and say, "Oh, you give me a position in the government. I got to join, the government in order for us to pass civil rights movement." No, he went after everybody, and that's the hard work our leaders. That's and that's what the rubber meets the road. They're not able to do that because they get bought into, "Oh, if I don't do it today, I will not win election." The first thing you got to tell yourself, I don't care if I win election or not. Like when Alex Jones speak, I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care if I ever win election in Liberia. The fact remains is, what are my principles? What are the things that I as a person I believe in? And that's why I think Liberians, because there's a lot of good Liberians. Liberians around the world, Liberians in Liberia, they are looking for that. They're looking for that person. And lastly, I would say, you cannot do it alone. You have to you have to build an institution. But who you build that institution with is very key. You cannot go and build an institution with a devil and then expect an angel.
Well, okay. Well, with that said, we want to go.
I would say that too.
With that said,
I was seeing the Bible. Any Bible say that Dr. Peabody, be removed from sinners.
To not be unequally yoked with what? But I mean,
exactly.
It's for me. It's relative. That text is relative to me, because in order to know people, you gotta really, I don't.
You can work with them.
I'm a very liberal.
You can eat at the house.
I'm a very liberal Christian. I'm different from, I'm very liberal. So but I would look at it from a relative point of view. Do not be unequally yoked on believer. But it's the same thing again. Jesus mingled himself with some of the worst people, the worst sinner. I mean, all of that, So, but
he never changed his message, Doc. He never changed his message.
The message was the same, and I believe in that. I believe in the inerrancy. For me, I believe in the inerrancy of the gospel. But we see what our churches are doing today. See,
exactly.
Let me not go there. I don't want to get into those things. I'm very liberal. I'm different. So people always. But let's take some calls today. And what we need to just call and say what you want to say. Anything you want to talk about. Just call. We're not going to interrupt. Just call and share with us. Let's take some calls, Julia. The WhatsApp number is
hopefully we can get some WhatsApp calls. The number is 919-324-6828. Guys, on WhatsApp, look for TCA viewers and just let's hear from you, especially for folks in Liberia. Let's hear from you. You're the one experiencing what's going on right now. The rain, the price hike in rice price, and several other things that are happening. So let's hear from you.
Everything that happened. You want to call about it? Call. Even
call about it.
Yeah, my son leaving call. It's for you.
No, but guys, the lines are open. Let's hear from you. The number is 919-324-6828 on WhatsApp, especially if you are outside of Liberia or somewhere else.
If you're in Europe, anywhere watching
Europe, that is the number again, 919-324-6828. Let's hear from you. But Dr. Peabody, while we wait for people to call, though, there's something that just actually came to my mind. There's this story about the young lady who contributed to the beating of Joshua. Okay, and she was recently appointed to the board, even though the previous government, CDC government, said the case was being investigated, and she was just recently appointed to the board. But this is not my concern. We will let the law take its course. We let the police do their work. But my thing here is the question that I ask is, what message are these leaders, whether the president or the current director, sending to the young people of Liberia?
Yeah.
You simply need to be a militant. You simply need to be disrespectful. Utilize the social media to spew out just whatever you. Okay, you just use the social media to insult people.
Right.
Profanities, and then you will be considered for a job. That is your qualification. Is that what we're using now to determine how qualified a young person is? But then we expect to build a vibrant society when all we use as a benchmark for one's qualification is the loyalty to that political party, or how often they're found on social media or other platforms using profanities, attacking other people. This is the best way we can develop Liberia. This is something I wanted to talk about because it is concerning, especially for the young people back home. Instead of us encouraging the smart and young ones to find reason to come into the workforce based on competence, considering them based on merits, we are awarding jobs to people because of their loyalty or because of the amount of profanities that they have used. It's disgusting. I just want to hear, while we wait for people to tell me, I want to hear people's view on this.
Yeah, but Julia, yes, we've seen this happen. Look, I don't want to call names. There is a guy from Minnesota. I mean, this guy, I wish I could think of his name. This guy had a talk show. This guy could really
his name is D-Flow Flomo.
Yes, D-Flow Flomo.
Yes.
This guy was rude. This guy was, I mean, everything that came out of his mouth. You think Prophet Key had profanity? D-Flow was worse.
Yep.
Where's D-Flow today? And he's one of the deputy director at LBS. He's one of those that's serving in key position. Only because he used to go on with a little a podcast in the night and cuss. I remember he cussed us. Oh boy.
Oh yes.
He played to cuss us spoon. Sometimes people said it to me, and I just used to laugh and laugh. You know, think that he didn't know who I was or what. And then when I go to Liberia, I see this. I went to Liberia one time, and who came to hug me? Oh, we are brothers. You know, that's the media. And it was, but that guy was. But what D-Flow? D-Flow got his reward for cussing. D-Flow not is the deputy director of Liberia Broadcasting Center for cussing. He's not a journalist though. He's not a journalist, and you expect the station to grow and be vibrant in the country when you're putting somebody who's not a journalist to a journalistic position, and you expect them to get a job. That's no merit, and then you expect it to grow. How can you take a Tesla driver and put it in a plane to drive? You think that plane will crash before it even start? That's what we see there. All right. You had a call?
Actually, not yet. We haven't. No one's calling yet. I guess if people are afraid. Actually, we might get our first caller here. They just reached in. So yeah, folks. Again, it's the WhatsApp number for those of you in the States. That's also a local line number. There we go. Here's our first caller here. Let's take the first caller here. Caller, your name and where you calling from. Benjamin Jonah, I think it is.
Hey, thank you. This is Benjamin calling from Minnesota. I just want to say a big thank you to you guys for all you do. I think the platform looks very good now. I think Light and Day can operate at the same space. So now I think you guys are in the right place. Keep doing what you're doing. We're here. We will do whatever we can do to support this platform as long as you guys will be good. We'll be there for you. But thank you for all the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's take this WhatsApp. Let's take this WhatsApp caller here. Caller, your name and where you calling from. Let's hear from you.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Haj Nawazi. I didn't follow up on the closing argument. I'm sorry. I'm calling you from South Korea.
It's okay. Good.
I'd like to say thank you very much for what you guys do. I mean, taking up your family time to come here and give us information. I think we have to appreciate you guys for doing that. And to the issue I want to talk about, it was quite unfortunate that our government came to Korea for a summit. And unfortunately, they came here with nothing, as all I didn't know, that the government is supposed to come and at least try to regularize Liberia's status all around the world, because especially in Korea, when it comes to money issue with the Korean mayor way back. As you all remember, during the early time, government like confiscated the Korean man money. These are key on the agenda when the Liberian government came to Korea. And because of that, they put Liberia on a listening role instead of putting up the agenda, what they want to do for the country, what they want to achieve from Korea. They put Liberia on the sideline to listen to other countries' proposals. And quite unfortunately, our government went back to Liberia, giving Liberians the hope that, yes, indeed, the some memorandum of understanding in Korea, which of course is all lies. You know, it's quite unfortunate that this government, who confiscated the Korean man money, not be able to sit this government and tell them how best they will pay this government money back and move forward from there. I mean, this is quite unfortunate. And let me end on this note by saying thank you guys very much for the time you guys.
Hey, hold that guy.
At least we'll have another call. We will be here and give some.
Probably get that guy on the show one day to talk about it.
From Korea, so that you'll be able to play it, Nova. Thank you very much for having me.
Hold on 1 second. I think Dr. Peabody had a question for you. Go ahead, Doc.
Will you be interested in coming on one of these days for like 10 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes and talk about that, the president's trip and some of the issues you guys are faced with?
Did you hear him?
No, I didn't hear you.
Well, I think the question was, will you be interested in coming on the show one of these days to speak to the president's trip in South Korea? Since you're there, we assume that you have more information and you're well abreast of what happened.
Well, I think I'll have to look at my schedule because, as you can hear, and when I call you, you heard the machine sound. When you guys on, and you know, right. I'm working. It's in the morning here, so we already started work already. So so I have to look at my schedule and then communicate with you since I have your number, Lupa.
Okay.
And we can better discuss it. But I will send you details on videos and other things to prove that yes, indeed, Liberia did not achieve anything in Korea apart from listening to other countries.
Yes.
You understand me? Other countries putting out the proposals, to Korea and getting a lot of money to take back to the country. I mean, I was saying many videos from news outlet here in Korea. Instead of what the people tell you.
Wow. Thank you. Dr. Peabody, thank you. Let me tell you something that, and you know, when we started earlier, I play a video that that was playing in the back. And the reason I played that video was somebody sent me the video and they said, this is where your government officials went. They went to the culture event. The culture event, you seen where people were sitting and they were having people performing. They're saying this is where your government officials were enjoying themselves and going around. They were not actual major meetings where people were actually benefiting something. No, right. These guys were enjoying themselves. Okay, that's why I said we give this man a healthy retirement package, and that's good. He's enjoying it.
Yeah, very good retirement package. Very good.
Could you guys hear the caller clear? Was it clear?
Yeah, later on. Yeah, it was clear. Okay. Yeah. So guys, the number there if you want to call. Before we get the next caller, I received a call from Liberia today. He came from Ghana, and he went to get his passport. I know him very well. He's been in Ghana over 25, 20, almost 30 years. Half a birth certificate, and he called me crying. I don't know who gave him my number, but he went to Ghana. To the foreign ministry to get his passport, and they said they couldn't give him passport because he's a foreigner, because he has the last name Rasami. Okay. His mom was there with him. His mom came from the U.S., from Buchanan, and they refused to give this Prince Rasami his passport. And he was born in Buchanan. He had birth certificate. And they say, you're a foreigner. So he's not saying, I can't go back to my wife and cheer her because I got no travel document. I came Liberia to get my document and they say, I'm a foreigner. What? So I said, give me the information. Who told you that? And we're going to try to look into it. But this guy, mother came from the U.S. I think they wanted to bury his uncle in Liberia. So he met his mom in Liberia. Mom was born in Buchanan. They are called the Rasami. He lived in Liberia, but since 1990, he's been living in Ghana, doing very well. In fact, every time I went to Ghana, he would come see me, we would chat. I met his family. Last year, I met his wife and all of that, took us to his house. We had dinner all at his house. This man come home now, Get ready to go back, renew his document. They say he's a foreigner, so they can't get him passport to go back. And this man is trying to in Liberia, and he can't go back to his family because he got no travel document. Can you imagine? You know, so I told him, I said, go back and get the name. Who told you that? And we'll try to showcase it and let people take action on it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
The young man was crying. He was crying. He said, I don't know what to do. And my mom is there. The mother speaks Basel, everything. She's there. And he said the guy's a foreigner. And I want to my son.
You know, again, this speaks to why it is important that we institute some kind of system. Folks would say there is a system. I don't think we have a system in Liberia. No. We pretend to really have one, but we don't. Yep. Because if there was one, these kind of things would not be happening.
Nope.
Especially the fact that we are living in a technological age. Yep. Technology is at our disposal.
Yep.
Some of these things is just easily, I mean, you can easily address these things, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You're telling me you're not able to obtain data on your own citizen?
Nope.
At what point in time do we start?
Yep.
You cannot obtain data.
Lord, it's a shame, though. It's a complete shame, you know. Guy, if you want to call, the numbers are there. Tell me call. Otherwise, we'll do our closing. But Robert, I didn't. Anyway, I'm not going to bring it back up. We're just going to leave it like that. I wanted you to chime me to your best friend. Anyway, I'm going to leave it like that.
Yeah, let's leave it.
Our man is traveling today. Sincerely, Noel George is traveling to Liberia, so we should safe flight to Liberia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, Tumilin George is on his way to Liberia?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah. So
that's good. Wish him safe travels back home. Oh man, this is one time I don't like to be in Liberia, man. That place is rainy season time, it's muddy and it's just nasty and it's just nah.
Yeah, but there was a place I think that flooded in Monrovia. I think Toga did put that in the chat room.
Yeah, a lot of places are flooding.
It's looking bad. It's looking bad.
Lot of places are flooding. You heard about what's happening with the water and sewage, about a lot of families' concerns with regards to the quality of the water in certain areas. A lot of people are saying there's no need to really. They feel more safe, having a water tank and getting water that way than the water through the water and sewage, because the government have not put in place the right mechanism to really ensure that those waters are clean, especially in areas where homes have been built on separate tanks. People are disposing of waste in different just all over the place. And I was like, wow, this is important. I mean, because if you're not sure where that pump water is coming from,
right?
How can you cook with it? You know what I'm saying? How can you really cook with it? So I was reading that today, and I was like, I thought that was interesting.
Well, you can't even tell whether those things have been renovated. I mean, the water have been clean for years since the Civil War and all of that. Our people don't have clean water at all. And I don't blame them, because if you like some area in Monrovia, when you put the pump on, the water is red when it's coming out.
Yeah, it's muddy. It's muddy. That's what they're saying.
Red.
Yeah.
Alex, you open it and you. So what I usually do, I used to buy bottled water. Gris in the back. Did somebody bring her on? I used to buy bottled water and just use it to brush and wash my face. And I don't know red water on my face.
I think people just going to just settle with, because most of the folks who are building homes, they have wells, right? They have the little pump, they have the little thing, and they're connecting their homes with their own waters. But I thought it was interesting that they brought that up, because it really had me thinking, if you're going to connect with Liberia Water and Sewage, I mean, to be honest with you, are you safe with the water that's coming out your pump? I mean, a lot of people, I don't even drink pump water from the faucet in America. You know what I'm saying? I rather drink bottled waters, right? So I know people will buy bottles of waters who can afford in Liberia, but even to cook with the water, you're not sure if it's you using poo water or pee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's serious, Chris. People are concerned. Some of these waters are coming from places where they're not sure if it's been properly cleaned. You know, and so I thought that was very interesting. So I hope the government can address that kind of stuff because that's very concerning.
But when we just celebrating Mo Ali yesterday for bringing pipe-bound water.
That was temporary. Yeah, but he was the same one complaining about it. I think today was the news. That was temporary. It's a lot. It entails a lot. You know,
these political projects that they just running around with just to gain relevance or some kind of recognition is what will kill a lot of our people.
Yeah. In places like West Point, they're trying to connect the lines, and they're realizing that some of the homes, and what about zoning? People are just building homes all over the place, Alex. I mean, people are building toilets in areas where these lines are supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Separate tanks. Yeah. But do you know that I went to Down Wallasa, and in those places where you go and find a real lapa, I was searching for lapa. When you go down Wallasa, and the people say when you're stepping in water, you might be stepping in poo-poo, because those people, those Lebanese and the other folks who have those homes upstairs, as they flush that toilet, it's coming right down there. The place is so stink. I mean, when I heard that, I said, "No, please get me out of here quick." It's so almost like smell no taste. So it could be real, because if poo-poo water is coming, it's coming out in the open like that, where people are still selling. People are selling lapa and selling clothes, and people have nothing on their faces. What do you think about these pump waters? Yeah. I mean, the government will have to address that, because if I'm not sure where these waters are coming from, and it's not 100% certain that they're actually clean, I'd rather just have my container in there and my well and pump water through there and be safe, because people are not going to, what becomes of the water and sewage then? You know, so I hope they already address that kind of stuff, man, because that's troubling.
Yeah, guys. So we will be closing. If you want to give the caller at least 1 or 2 more minutes, then we'll be closing.
Is it in the studio?
We'll call it a day. But Chris, what you want to share? What you thinking about?
Robert said it all. The people water. I mean, Liberia is in a.
You want to share it?
Liberia is in a very bad place. When you even go to the country, for me, I just feel very sorry for our people, and it's so depressing when you go there and see how life is for other people, and they still just can't get it right when it comes to voting for the right leaders, because it doesn't take much to fix Liberia. Let's be honest. The country is a small country. It takes the person who have the heart to really help that country and change things around. It doesn't take much. It takes a person who have the heart. If Liberian people can just grasp that and try to go and look at vision and plans for leaders who put themselves in the race and say they want to run. Look for all these things, what they're going to deliver for Liberia, what they're going to do for Liberia. Joseph Parker had no plan. They meant to you are not going to do anything. You say you agree. They meant say he got nothing to offer. You say stay. You agree that they meant time. So you get a nice retirement package, and he retired feeling good now, and he's setting his children up for the rest of their lives, the grandchildren. He steal good money for now to 6 years. They will never suffer again in this life. It's sensible. But most time when people steal money like that, it doesn't last, because you never worked for it. So people who have money, most of them, majority of the time, they work for. So it's deplorable. It's deplorable.
Yeah, call hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
It's deplorable. The people are building homes in the alleyway.
Yeah, this is to close the argument. Just hold on 1 second, please.
Our parents, they build their houses. When you see those days, they had a demarcation. They road there for people to pass, for the water to run down, everything. The people start building bathrooms in the. I mean, so Liberia has nothing. We don't even have a postal system. You know, their day and age that even Sierra Leone having those things now.
Thank you.
We're far away from Sierra Leone when it came to development. So we just need to vote the right leader in to be able to do the right thing. It doesn't take much to build Liberia up. It doesn't take much.
Caller, go ahead. Your name, where you calling from?
Yeah, okay. My name is Alfred Coburn. I call from Minnesota.
Alfred, let's hear from you.
Okay, I got a question that I intended asking John Moore yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't go through.
This is not the sport.
But John Muller's not here. John Muller's not here.
Yeah, I know that. But Peabody was mentioning some of the things that he heard on the show, and I believe that you guys could probably talk about some of it too. You know?
No, this is not a closing argument, man. No, I'm sorry. This is let's respond. We can't discuss.
I mean, if you want to make
we can discuss feedback from Malu on the phone, bro. Let's discuss feedback from our guests on this platform.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Did you hear the panelists? I mean, how are we to respond to something that we may not have adequate information to, especially if we don't have?
Yes. He wasn't a guest yet. He was.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead, and then we're go ahead.
And here is my question. I want for Alex Jones to kind of chip in because he is a politician over there trying to become a president, wanting to become a president. Now, yesterday I intended asking John Molo concerning, I'm just paraphrasing. When Madam Sali was president, John Molo indicted that government, saying that government was, I think, 10 plus more times corrupt than that of Judith Bryant. And that government was headed by Madam Sali. Joseph Boakai served under that government for 12 years. Now, this thing, John Molo came back after 18 years,
and he told Joseph Boakai
and supported and raised millions of dollars and supported this thing, Joseph Boakai. So my question to you guys: do you think John Molo put his credibility online, or was he trying to separate Joseph Boakai from the administration of the Unity Party at the time? And B to that question would be, did he, John Molo, ever audited any entity that was directly headed by Joseph Boakai? Such, for example, the group of 77 informed him to be a credible man, because in his statement yesterday he said Joseph Boakai, when it comes to transparency over his watch, there's no transparency. He's doing the same thing George Weah is doing here in Delaware. So as a politician and as an analyst, can you guys talk about that? Was the question I actually meant to have asking yesterday. Can you guys talk about that?
Okay. I think that's kind of fair, but let's hear from the guys in here. I don't know what they think about that, but hopefully we will respond to the question here. My thing is, let me take this out of the way. I was going to share this with you guys that more early in their process, but here, let me try to take that out of the way here. But I think, to be honest, though, after listening to the question, though, I think it's a fair question.
That's a beautiful question.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I think we should take some time and address it. Because I think we talked about this before. I have no regard for John Molo, and I think he's just speaking out of anger because he did not get what he wanted, and so now he's speaking out. Why it is true that we appreciate the information that he's providing to the public, but I can tell you, had John Molo gotten what he wanted, he and other people would have been defending all of these things today. I can guarantee you that, because a man who worked and prosecuted, I would say, okay, and just using that word vaguely, all right, he called the previous government that President Boakai worked with for 12 consecutive years, called them corrupt. And then he still thought to invest his time and even solicited funds to support his candidacy for the presidency. I don't want to take no time to even discuss John Molo. He's just like the rest of the other Liberians who are selfish, they are greedy, and I think part of his decision to support President Boakai, I'm sorry to say that, but it was based on tribalistic. That was part of the reason why he supported President Boakai. And that's the reason why, caller, finally, the reason why the likes of John Molo and others will not appear on this platform is because the questions we will pose to them It's one that they're uncomfortable with answering, and that's the reason why they would rather just go and make somewhere else. I stop at that point.
Yep. Alex, he mentioned your name. What do you say about that?
Are you talking to me?
Alex, yeah, he mentioned you. You're a politician. He wanted you to address
that. Well, I couldn't get it clearly, but I got some of the gist. Okay. I disagree with Lofajula. John Molu is a very capable individual, technically, professionally. Let's separate the two. All right. I would agree with you that his decision to support Joseph Boakai was premature and it wasn't well thought of. I think he supported Joseph Boakai based on relationship, family, tribe, and all that kind of stuff. It was not an analytical decision. And that's the way how most people support people. They support somebody because, they like the person or the person close to them, or they went and met the person one time. We don't have any kind of real way of analyzing our, most of the politics. Why am I supporting this person? Is it based on policy? Is it based on, past record? But I would not dismiss the fact that John Molu has proven that even if John Molu would have gotten a position in Liberia and the government was going to do what they're doing now, John Molu would have spoken up because he done that before when he was Auditor General. He was making good money. He had all the incentive to play by the rules, play by politics in Liberia. And this man was, he left it and he stood up against it. So I won't take that away from him. All right. It's the same thing. Why are we mad? And I want to ask you guys then from the other camp, because, there seems to be nobody having a camp these days. Everybody just talking generality. Okay. The same way you guys, or most of the CPP members, you supported Joseph Boakai, you supported Yumbi Kanga Lawrence, you supported Ibe Nayu. You don't feel that somehow the same way John Molu is speaking out of anger, that you guys are speaking out of anger towards Joseph Boakai? Because when you guys were praising Joseph Boakai in the CPP, walking around, forming coalition, I didn't hear none of y'all speak. But today, all of you are not Joseph Boakai, that black snake. Why would you join somebody like Joseph Boakai, elevate him out of retirement, give him relevance, support him, and then because y'all fell apart, the ANC fell apart. Is that what the anger is? Yeah, I don't understand it. You're just as John Molu in our regards, that the only reason that any other party would be disgruntled is because perhaps they are not a part of Joseph Yima Boakai team, or they didn't win the presidency or the stand-up bearership. And that is disingenuous. That is wrong. You choose who you want to join. That's the one thing God has given us. He's giving us the freedom to choose. Even if we choose him, won't choose the devil, he allows us to choose whoever we want to choose. You cannot choose to join somebody. Just like you go marry the woman. You hear or the man. I won't say woman, I want to be sexist. You go marry the man. You hear the man a player. He's sleeping with all the little girls in the neighborhood. But you go marry the man. Then you bring your horse girl in the hall, the man starts sleeping with the horse girl, then you get mad. When everybody was telling you, no, this man's a useless man. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have the moral ground, unfortunately, in the future. Because the way I look at people, the way I judge whether somebody is smart or somebody is capable, I look at a decision. I look at your decision. Who you vote for, who you choose, what area of the debate you on the side, or you side with. And if you're wrong one time, I will give you the first chance. If you're wrong 2 times, I can't trust you. I trust your judgment. So the case with Clarence Monaba could have joined Joseph Boakai. He had every incentive. He was in the United Party government. He could have come on and said, you know what? I'm a young man. Let's play by Liberian politics. I will get my job, pay my family. But he chose not to. That's so that's where you look at people's morals and people's decision. You have to base them on a decision. For those who did not do that, you don't have the grounds to come today and criticize Joseph Boakai because you were rejoicing at one point. All I'm saying.
That's a fair thing, though.
Alex, go ahead.
Can I come in at my time?
Yeah.
Will you then say we instead of just them? Because you supported him too.
You want start? Lufa, you want start again? You want start again? But the pump shot I got for you, I'm not gonna give you today.
We're not gonna have
I
your
will
back
go.
and forth.
We'll
Yeah,
give you
you just
another
take
time.
it back in the back end. But what I would say is that John Molu don't have the ethical morality to come and start to talk. I agree with Lufa 100% on this one. He doesn't have it because people like John Molu, they have a voice in our society, unfortunately. And we cannot continue flip-floppers. You either for or you against. So for him to even come on and start to criticize Joseph Boakai government because he did not get what he wanted to get within this government, or else we're not going to criticize the government. This man is a young man. He around the age that we call, the middle-aged people that's supposed to be stepping in places and helping to build a country because of the innovative minds that they have right now moving forward in the 21st century. And you go and pay your back. You go bend it down for old men like Joseph Boakai, we're riding car, a golf car at the airport to get to his gate. You pay your buy, say Joseph Boakai, clear on top of it, clear on it, and sit down in the seat. And then you give your future to Joseph Boakai, you give it to him, say, oh, wrong with my future. Although you already live your future, you live your life already, everything you wanted to do, you do. But my future now, that when you can't tell me what to do, then they say, oh, ma, to sit down, oh, ma, to plan, you ma, that kind of mental the richness of the people. Then John Molu to come and say, oh yeah, and this and that. You tribalistic, at the end of the day, this is what will happen always. And we thank God that Joseph Boakai made sure that someone never got in the government to do nothing. Because they were not fighting for the Liberian people. They were only fighting for themselves and the greed that they have in them. And for now, we are not looking for people like that who can't tell us anyone want to hear from you. You need to be quiet, have a seat, and call it a day. We need people who stood their ground and people who want to see Liberia move forward to come and speak to us. That's the people we're looking forward to hearing from.
All right, gentlemen. I think we will call it a day and do our closing at this time. We'll call it a day. I think it was a great conversation tonight. And again, I want to thank you guys for continually holding down the closing acumen. I think we had a great conversation, great discussion, and looking forward to come back on Wednesday. Yeah, but we want to begin, do our closing. Let's begin with Robert. You want to go first? Robert on the phone. Okay.
That's not this. I mean, we want to show we got to pay attention for the sake of our nations.
Yeah. But yes, I think again, like everybody have said, we gave a lucrative retirement package to Joe Boakai. Very lucrative, with security, money, everything. So that's what the Liberian people wanted. The Liberian people spoke. There's a song that says, "Let the church say amen," and the church say amen. Liberian people say that who we want. You say, well, that who we want, and they put him there. So I think that it's too early for them to start complaining. We got a long time to go, a very long time to go and complain. But again, we are seeing actors coming up, acting among themselves. We are seeing some other people. One of the things Manu said yesterday that Dylan Youngbley are the one making decision for the government. We are the decision maker for the government. All of that. Youngbley want to be president, and Dylan want to go to Bassa because the chances in Montserrat may be a little difficult. So they'll try. But look, lastly, one hot topic, one thing that came up. I hear Edwin Snow is leaving, is going back to his party that he left a while ago. Edwin Snow.
Okay. And I mean, are you surprised? Isn't that Liberian politics? The level of inconsistency? I mean, again, remember, Edwin Snow actually enriched himself at the expense of Liberians. So right now, people were talking about this before, right? People were assuming that Edwin Snow attempted or he wanted to run for the presidency. But again, this is where we have to come in and say, look, we must stand up for something. And Edwin Snow, Alex Tyler, and you name all of these guys. If you were to just say name few corrupt or alleged corrupt government officials, you will not have 10 names mentioned without Alex Tyler and Edwin Snow being mentioned in it. I can bet anything anywhere here. These are the inventors of corruption in Liberia. But guess what? They're literally celebrating and bathing in money. Why our people live in abject poverty? So he can make the decision to leave from one party to go to the other, leave from one county and go to the other to run. I won't be surprised. But again, this is where I stand and say, if we sincerely want change, we must disrupt these kind of behaviors and we must adapt the mentality that regardless of what they say, we must transform Liberia. If we don't do that, we will stay very static, just where we are, while other nations continue to progress.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Y'all can chime in this and do your closing. Who want to go first on the closing? Who want to go first?
Let me go
I'm cool
before
because
Alex. Alex,
All right. All right.
Alex, you want to come in or you want me to go?
Go ahead. Ladies first. So.
Yeah, Liberians,
I'm a gentleman.
listen to me. It is so beautiful, right? When you see the other countries, people are going home to the countries because the diaspora Liberians had a lot to do with this election that happened in Liberia. They were the ones that carried the whole elections on their back. Although most of them never went back home to vote, but they have control all there because we have families there. We can tell them, this is what's happening. We are in a different world. We see this and see that, and we kind of, tell them where to go. How do you feel right now that you are here living in this country? You see Nigerians going home to the country. They are there building their mansions. They have roads, everything to connect to where they can go at. They have a water running through the pipes, clean water to drink. They have laws and orders working for them. Although they are not perfect, but things are going on. How do you feel for Liberia to still be in that state? And you are here now. Most of y'all want to go home. Some of y'all have built your mansions already in Liberia that it's just in a state of ridiculousness because you will not be able to go back to be able to live in that situation where current going every now and then, where you can't get water to run, where the alleyways, the people don't have no laws and regulations for building and all the kind of things. And you know that it doesn't take that much for those things to be put into implementation. But because the government that we consistently tell our people to vote for, they vote these people in and they cannot deliver for the country. Now, how do you feel? So my thing to you is that for me, I'm pushing for 2029. It's not too early. You need to start opening your eyes at this point in time. You need to start. Everybody got the people that they really want and they favor. But what is it big for you to go and look at? Really go and search these people and research them to see whether they can really deliver for Liberia. And you put your bid there with love for Liberia, not because you want to be a follower of a group or not because you want to be friends with somebody and because they support this person so you can't stand your ground. Then you are not a leader. You are a follower. And sometimes followers do make good decisions, so you can even follow somebody and make the right decision on what you're going to do. So I'm just letting you know, because because of the way you people think, and because of your mindset, this is why Liberia is in what it's in today. Until you change your mind and do the right thing because of country, that we all, maybe when we get older, we can go back home and enjoy the land that God has given us. We did not ask to be born in that country. We were born there. It's our rights to be there. But until Liberia can be at a better place, until we can vote a great leader into power that will change things, it doesn't take much to do it, we will continue to strive and we'll continue to come on this platform and talk. But we all talking the same old thing, but we just try to in different directions. That we need to come together and merge and form a united front to save Liberia from the hijackers, because they are hijack our country and we need to take it from them.
So, all right, Grace. Let's hear from.
I'm not sure I can tap that and go after Grace on that. Very, very nice speech. Again, I want to thank you guys, Lofa, Dr. Peabody, Timberlake, and the crew for such a program that people can come with different views, people can come with different ideas, disruptors can come and all be part of the conversation.
So I'm happy, that we have a platform like this. We need to all support it. I go on all Liberian people to support this channel and other channels that, you have an open platform, period. Anybody with different views. It's not belonging to We Are or Cummings or Boaka or, Alex Jones or anybody. Now, what Grace said is very important because we know the problem, but we don't, we have to come up with a solution. Okay, and that's where a lot of Liberians struggle. You can't tell anybody the suffering. We all got family there. We all know what's going on. We all know the poo-poo water. We know all that stuff. The question here is, what do we do next? How do we go into 2029 for change? How do we make sure that the same politicians or the same corrupt people don't come back and steal our future and the future of our children? Okay, with me, that's my life work with the movement to make Liberia better. That's why I'm here. I'm not here because I ain't got nothing to do or I won't be here. They did not cost me enough, and I think it will continue to cost me. What I'm looking forward and asking all Liberians to, especially the leaders that are not part of this cartel, the Edwin Snows, the Uris, the Weas, the Boakas. These people have had the chances. They've had the chances. It's time now, maybe to look at the Peabodys, to look at the Grace. Every time I hear people mention the same names in Liberian politics, to be honest with you, I get sickened by it. America, who knew Barack Obama before he became president 5 years ago? Nobody. This man even not even mentioned. Okay, JFK, who knew him before he became, the leader of the country? So we have to get all of this idea that the only people will have that these people here because they're powerful. What I can assure Liberian people is that this united front that we're building, everybody is welcome, and we're looking for new people. I think I sat on this platform. I told you guys, I'm going to be supporting new, young, capable candidates. I'm going to put my voice behind them. I don't care, like I said, it can be Lofa Julia. I'd rather take a Lofa Julia if you want to be, or Amar Kone. Amar Kone has had his chances. He's failed us. And so I feel that's the way to go forward. And calling on these leaders, these new, young, innovative leaders, get out of your shelf. You don't, if you want to lead a country, it's a fight. Like you said, you have to be a disruptor. You can't play by the same rules the other people are giving you and say, okay, I got to go sit down with Ben Nayure. Oh, I got to join. Don't hell, excuse my expression, the hell with them. You got nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Go there, check out the party, support each other, and I feel that's how Liberia will go forward. Let's promote this united front. It's not about Grace. It's not about Alex Jones. It's not about Clarence Moneybar. It's about a new paradigm in Liberia that will welcome new people, accountable, capable people. That's what I'm promoting. Thank you very much for the show, and as always, good to be here.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Grace. I will do my closing, and then Lofa will take us home. Guys, we want to thank all of you again for making it. We want to thank all our viewers, man. It's been a great time, great discussion. And again, let me say this. Closing Acumen is here to stay. There's no plan for me to say I'm leaving the Closing Acumen to go on another show. If I do that, that means that I'm just done now. But we will continue to fight with Closing Acumen until we get to where we wanted to be. We were on other platforms. We started it from 5, 10 viewers, 6 viewers, until it went to 1,000. And we'll be with Closing Acumen until we get to that point. We will disagree as panelists and stuff like that, but we will not go that far trying to bring our friends down. I just want to reiterate that Kev left, and we wish him all the best. Today has been very hard on social media. People have been calling our names. Some people say we're not working, we are hustler, we're doing nothing. But you can see on the platform, not to brag, we're not bragging here, but the least people here probably have a bachelor or master degree on negotiating acumen. I don't know. So, and everybody work. They're professional people, work in professional areas and stuff like that. So we are very glad to have a diverse panel, and want to assure you that the rumors out there that we were going back, the former guys from the other network were going back, that's a blatant lie. We are not. We are here and we'll continue to work to build this. We are not running any competition. So we had 2 or 3 viewers. That is great. We thank you for all your support and for tuning in. Just to sit and watch this show, you are making a big sacrifice. And to all of you, we want to wish you all the best. Thank you so much. That is just my closing.
So I'm going to close on this note. This is what I believe we need to do as a nation to move forward. I think we need to support the idea of consistency. I listened to Alex. Alex spoke about, the desire to get away from the status quo or the old heads and those who were in the game before and caused us to be here. But why it is true that we are preaching these messages, let us be at the forefront of the message. You can't say one thing and then do another thing. If you run an institution that actually bought into the idea of numbers, then how is it that you can tell us again that you are against the idea of buying into numbers? You had the option at the time. You saw there was Clarence Moneyba in the race, and this is where I frowned at Alex. Unfortunately, he's not on the page anymore, so I don't think it's fair to him to mention or address this issue. But I think we must be consistent with our message. We can't say there were quality or qualified candidates in the race. Yes, I'm Alexander Cummings, Terwan Gongo, Clarence Moneyba. All of these people, you made a public statement that you would prefer to support a candidate because he's highly supported. He has the number to win an election. And this is what got us here today, where we are handling a retirement package to a man who is doing nothing to move Liberia forward, because we are all about the numbers. We are all about the number. It was never about quality. And that is the reason why Madam Yombi Kanga-Lawrence and Darius DeLong insulted us by telling us, look, President Boycott is not going to go on the campaign trail. He need not to campaign because he will win. And this is what is happening to us today. We should not do that to Liberia. We must be consistent. We need consistent fighters who sincerely believe in transformation, not to be inconsistent because you want to be heard or you want to be favored. I will tell you this again, and I'll say it again. Had we supported a Clarence Moneyba, an Alexander Cummings, or Terwan or Gongo, and say, you know what, we will fight the status quo. We will fight them. We will put all of our resources behind these individuals because we sincerely believe in them over the Joseph Boycott and President Weah. Maybe we would have been somewhere. Instead, we bought into the argument about the numbers, the number. And that's why we are here today. Hopefully, come 2029, it will not be about the number. It will be about the quality of candidates that are in the race. Thank you, guys. It was a great show. Great to be on here tonight. And hopefully we continue to do what we do in the best interest of Mama Liberia. Hopefully Wednesday I'll be back on here again by God's grace.
Have a good night, guys. We love all of you, and have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, man. Good night.
Oh. You on? You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Good. Great show. Good. All right.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. All right. You guys have yourself a good night. Thank you, Sita. We appreciate you being here as well, Sita. We appreciate you not coming late, though. This late appearance also, it counts against you. We'll start taking roll calls. For those of you that are permanent supporters of the platform, you can't be coming late. All right. Good night, guys.